After my CEO wife went bankrupt, everyone thought I would take the money and run, because I'm handsome, but only love money. Every day I spent my CEO wife's money on pleasure. However, I want to stay and help her make a comeback. Then, if she lets a bit slip through her fingers, wouldn't I achieve financial freedom directly? But who would have thought that my CEO wife's bankruptcy was a fake? When I transmigrated into this novel, it was already the finale. The beautiful CEO was the villain defeated by the female lead. I still remember the last passage about her. The only thing Ningbing had left was the husband lying in that bedroom, and his expensive watches and clothes. But Ningbing knew it herself, that this man, who ignored her except for asking for money, would soon leave with his watches and clothes. She would eventually have nothing. I rubbed my temples, thinking of that bankrupt CEO wife. I let out a soft sigh. Ningbing has been quite good to me since we married. Now, I feel a bit embarrassed. At the moment Ningbing hit rock bottom, to take the money and run. At the least, I should wait until she has her own income, or a career. After taking a moment to clear my thoughts, I got up and started cleaning the messy house. It took a full 3 hours before I could stuff everything into a corner of my room. By then, things were piled up in the room. There were over 100 watches and more than 80 sets of clothes. I wished I could swap the clothes for watches. After all, watches are easier to sell than clothes. I woke up at 2 p.m., touching my growling stomach. I rummaged through the wallet on the coffee table. I found an ID, bank card. I didn't enter the kitchen at all. We moved in these past 2 days, and neither of us knows how to cook. There's definitely nothing in the kitchen. I need to find food. Fortunately, although the house Ningbing rented isn't big, the neighborhood is quite nice. There are plenty of restaurants downstairs. I strolled downstairs and had a bowl of noodles, thinking about what I saw in the bathroom earlier. The few supplies. I took a trip to the supermarket. I came back with a bag of daily necessities. I bought Ningbing's share as well. The colors and styles were all bought according to her preferences in my memories. Then I started cleaning the house again. I opened the door and walked into Ningbing's room. I found that besides the bookshelf and desk, where there were a few more things, there was only a bed and a few essentials. I sighed helplessly. It's hard for this woman who grew up in luxury to endure this kind of life now. I looked around and started cleaning. Time passed minute by minute. By the time the whole house was cleaned, it was already 10 p.m. I finished washing up peacefully and set the midnight snack on the coffee table. As he opened the packaging and was about to put the first bite into his mouth, the sound of the front door opening rang out. He looked up and met a pair of eyes like autumn waters. The woman at the door saw me expressionlessly. When she looked away, she inadvertently scanned the room. A hint of surprise flashed in her eyes. Her gaze returned to me. I also took a look at her at the same time. She was a stunning woman, worthy of the author's excessive praise to describe her. I felt Ningbing's gaze, unconsciously gripping the chopsticks in my hand, feeling nervous without realizing it. After all, I'm an imposter. For someone like Ningbing, would she not notice something wrong with her husband? Her eyes made me feel that everything was exposed in her eyes. Did you hire a cleaner? Is the money still enough? Her tone was flat, with a hint of scrutiny. I instinctively shook my head. No, I cleaned it myself. You cleaned it? Yes, I cleaned it myself. Ningbing looked surprised, staring straight at me. They stared at each other. Ningbing was the first to look away. Is the money still enough? It's enough, and you? I asked back habitually. I regretted it as soon as I said it. This counter-question made Ningbing look over in surprise again. Then she slowly spoke. After these words, both fell into silence. Ningbing saw the food I was eating on the table. She blurted out sorry. I didn't react in time. I looked up, following her gaze, quickly shook my head. No, there's nothing you need to apologize for. Ningbing came over and sat on the other sofa, spoke carefully. The property issues have basically been settled. The assets under my name have all been transferred. Although nothing much is left, there are no debts. You don't need to worry about debt issues. I have 30,000 yuan left now. After these things are handled, I will make money fast. There should be 60,000 in your card. I've already paid 6 months rent for this apartment. If you want a divorce, I'll give you another 20,000. Until you find a place to rent, you can keep living here. I knew in my heart, Ningbing had done everything possible for me. Their total assets now were only 90,000. If they divorced, he was even willing to give me 80,000 and let me stay here. He certainly wouldn't want the watch or clothes either. Then he would only have a room and 10,000 yuan left. Seeing that I didn't speak, Ningbing added that the money I earn later will be partially given to you every month. At least 3,000 a month, okay? Because I don't know the future situation right now, so I can only promise this much for now. If there's a chance to make a comeback, I will compensate you. I quickly shook my head in refusal. Seeing me shake my head, Ningbing fell silent. I realized my previous action might have caused a misunderstanding and explained, no, I don't want a divorce. You don't need to give me money. Don't worry, I still have enough money. I've already accepted reality. I'll spend less now, and I'll earn my own money. You don't have to put so much pressure on yourself. Ordinary people don't spend that much a month. You're not divorcing? But didn't you say yesterday? Then I remember that I seemed angry yesterday, saying Ningbing was useless, saying I wanted a divorce. My face froze. That was because I was drunk then. I didn't mean it that way. I've thought it through. I can't divorce you at a time like this. Since we are married, I will take responsibility for our life now. You don't need to worry about me. I have no problem supporting myself. Maybe I can even support you. As soon as I spoke, Ningbing's look became even stranger, but didn't say much more. If you don't want a divorce, then forget it. Whenever you want a divorce, let me know. Ningbing stood up to wash up in the bathroom. I lowered my head awkwardly and continued eating. After Ningbing entered the bathroom, their footsteps paused for a few seconds, probably seeing me after I tidied up, looking different from before. Then the sound of running water started. By the time I finished eating, Ningbing had finished washing up and come out. It wasn't as awkward as imagined. Thanks, you should go to sleep early too. I scratched my head, feeling as if I were dreaming. I organized my thoughts once more, and also went to wash up. Then I returned to the room and opened my laptop. Applied for a personal shop on a second-hand market online. Then I shut the computer and slept. The next morning, I woke up at 6:30 out of habit. The ingredients bought yesterday. After preparing them and putting the porridge on to boil, I went downstairs to buy steamed buns and fried dough sticks. When I returned, Ningbing happened to open the door and come out. Hearing the sound of the door opening, looking up and seeing the breakfast in my hand, they unconsciously rubbed their eyes, probably thinking they had seen wrong. Good morning. I bought breakfast and made porridge. Go wash up quickly. After saying that, I went to the kitchen to check on the porridge, ignoring Ningbing's surprised look behind me, because both of us had stayed up late. I was afraid of blood deficiency, so I made red date porridge. This time the porridge was almost done. I scooped 2 bowls, then put the buns and fried dough sticks on a plate, boiled some eggs, and prepared some side dishes. When Ningbing came out of the bathroom, what they saw was a breakfast on the table that could barely be called lavish. This scene was clearly warm, but Ningbing didn't feel it at all. She knew her husband too well. Married for nearly 3 years, I had never cooked or done housework. All I knew was shopping. The information she found before marriage didn't say I knew how to do these things. Doubts began to arise in Ningbing's heart. Could it be that I was pretending all along? Before, there were servants and maids at home, so I never lifted a finger. Now there are only the 2 of us, and there's no money at home. It's not good to keep eating out. What I make isn't exactly delicious, but it's edible enough. If you don't mind, you can come back for meals. So when Grandpa asked if you could cook, you were lying to him. After Ningbing said this, she picked up the spoon and took a sip of porridge. I was stunned. Then I laughed it off, saying my skill can't compare to the maid's. At the time, I thought Grandpa ate delicacies, so I was too embarrassed to cook. This reason was barely acceptable. Ningbing nodded. The taste wasn't bad. I saw that her eating movements were still elegant. I realized, to let a woman who grew up with the finest food and most delicate meals eat this street food was indeed asking too much of her. After finishing the meal, Ningbing wanted to help bring things to the kitchen. I quickly stopped her. It's fine, I'll clean up. I can wash the dishes. Go do whatever you need to do. The assets aren't fully settled yet. I should be back by evening today. You don't need to worry about me. Call me if something happens. When Ningbing left, I finally felt a sense of freedom. I thought, even if this woman has fallen on hard times, the nobility in her cannot be erased. That invisible pressure was faintly present. If I hadn't seen a lot of things myself, I might not have been able to stand it. I have a lot to do today as well. Not only do I need to buy things for the house, but also take photos of those watches and clothes to list them for sale online. I thought with so many things, selling them all could probably get over $1 million. Then, whatever Ningbing wants to do, she will have the seed money money. Besides that, I also need to study the viewers of this world. Then consider returning to my old profession. In my original world, I was a web novelist. My university major was interior design. After graduating, I didn't want that as my main career, so I started writing, occasionally taking freelance jobs for extra money. Life had always been quite good. I washed the dishes and went out with the shopping list. I've never had a hobby for shopping. I came back and set things up after shopping. Then I photographed the watches and clothes. I kept busy like this until evening. I was exhausted. Then I finished the watch photos. I reheated the buns from this morning, took a few bites, then decisively returned to the bedroom to read web novels. I couldn't handle any more physical activity today. I could only do mental labor. 2 hours later, I clapped my hands happily, picked up the coffee on the table and drank it all. I discovered that the web novels in this world are a bit behind those in my original world. The stories I wrote before could all be rewritten here in a better way. It was a godsend. Then, I heard the sound of the door opening. I hesitated, then jumped out of bed, ran out wearing slippers. I had no choice. I found this morning that the door wasn't locked last night. Ningbing was probably used to living in a villa, and forgot that this kind of house needs to be locked manually. Seeing me come out to hang clothes, "You're back," she said. "I only found this morning that the door wasn't locked last night. When living in a villa, there were people responsible for security. Now there aren't any. This kind of door must be locked at night. Otherwise, a thief could easily pry it open." I understand. The two of us were basically like strangers. I had to start a topic. "Have you eaten?" "I have, and I bought some daily necessities today. If you need anything, let me know. I'll go buy it later." Nothing is missing for now. The conversation ended. What else could I say? I thought for 3 seconds, and decisively chose to leave the scene. Then, if there's nothing else, I'll go back to my room. Call me if you need anything. Ningbing looked around the room after I closed the door. He also strolled through the kitchen and the bathroom. There were quite a few more things in the house today. It felt a bit more lived in than before. This man intends to live here. As if he's become a different person. At this time, I didn't know what Ningbing was doing. I was fully focused on organizing the computer. The original owner was quite hardworking in high school, and got into a key school, but college was basically spent slacking off. His computer skills were even more of a mess. This laptop is incredibly slow. I need to clean up the things inside, and see what the original owner did in the past. As I scrolled through, I found the photo folder. There were many subfolders inside. Most were the original owner's selfies. A small part were photos of his parents. The name of the last folder was a bunch of gibberish. I clicked it open. Good grief. Inside were photos with a woman. This woman looked like some kind of socialite. She was quite pretty, but her look wasn't my type. Especially when she smiled. She seemed pure and fragile. Seeing the two of them so intimate, my soul was trembling. I quickly checked the dates. Luckily, they were all from before the marriage. Scared me to death. I kept a few photos that weren't so intimate. I quickly deleted the rest. By then, I had remembered. This woman was the original owner's girlfriend from college, a daughter of a wealthy family. But they had been broken up for so long, there was absolutely no need to keep these things. Luckily, Ningbing didn't mind. Otherwise, if discovered, it would be a time bomb. By the time I finished with the computer, it was late, nearly 11 o'clock. I yawned and flopped straight onto the bed to sleep. The next morning, I woke up even earlier than yesterday. I didn't go down to buy things. Instead, I chose to make fried rice myself, and paired it with 2 side dishes. When Ningbing woke up, I had almost finished preparing the meal. He could eat as he finished washing up. Ningbing saw the hearty fried rice before him, and was surprised. "You know how to make fried rice?" "Yes, although I can't cook many things. But home-cooked meals are no problem. It's not gourmet. At most, it's edible. Don't look down on it." Ningbing took a spoonful and put it in his mouth. "It's quite tasty. As long as you like it. I'll come back for lunch today." I was stunned. Then I quickly reacted. "What do you want to eat?" "I'll eat whatever you make. But I want rice." "Alright, I'll make sweet and sour pork ribs. How about scrambled eggs with tomatoes and egg drop soup?" "Will you be full?" "I should be." "Then don't worry. Go on with your work after eating." Ningbing took his coat and went out. Once again, it was me, cleaning up the dishes. After leaving the residential complex, Ningbing got into a car parked at the entrance. The driver was his former assistant, Gu Xinghan, also a friend chosen by his grandfather to grow up with him. As soon as the other saw him sit down, he handed him the paper bag in his hand. Ningbing. The breakfast from Shui's is not needed. I've already eaten. Fried rice made by Gu Xiaoyu. Gu Qinghan's hand paused while handing the item. Surprised. What? Brother Xiaoyu can cook? It's also my first time knowing he can cook. Yesterday he made some porridge. I thought that was already unprecedented. Hearing him say he can cook, I thought he was bragging. But as it turns out, he made fried rice today. When I said I'd come back for lunch, he even said he would cook some dishes. Hearing this abnormal behavior, Gu Qinghan frowned and said, he couldn't be plotting something, could he? I remember you two used to keep to yourselves. He couldn't do anything, right? Didn't he say he wanted a divorce before? I've already looked up the procedures. Why is there no movement now? Ningbing looked up, a thoughtful smile on his face. He said he doesn't want a divorce anymore, said he has accepted his current life, and will live a good life now, and will earn money, told me not to feel too much pressure. Ningbing leaned back against the seat, unclear tone. Could it be that she can't bear to see you suffering, and intends to share your joys and sorrows? If that's the case, she's quite a good person, idle during university, and spent the last 2 years of marriage only knowing how to spend money. One day she said she wanted a divorce. She changed her mind the next day. What do you think? They say adversity reveals a person's true character. Maybe her conscience couldn't take it. People, you don't know who they are until something happens. During this time, we've seen quite a few people turn their backs. Perhaps Brother Xiaoyu is the kind of person whose character is only revealed in times of trouble. Maybe. Let's go. Anyway, she won't affect anything. Let's wait and see. On the other side, I spent the whole morning busy photographing clothes. I can't possibly wear over 80 sets of clothes. Keeping about 10 sets for appearances is enough. I'll sell the rest. Then I can buy some ordinary clothes. After more than 2 hours, I've only photographed half. I look at the clock hanging in the living room. It's already 10 o'clock. Thinking I need to go buy groceries, I quickly put the clothes away, threw on a jacket, and headed out. Leaving the supermarket, I carried 2 large bags toward the residential area. As I crossed the road, I heard someone calling me. I turned around to see a beautiful woman, who was exquisitely dressed. Looking closer, wasn't she the woman from the photo last night? As soon as she saw me turn around, she ran over. Xiaoyu, how did you end up like this? I looked down at my clothes, then at the things I was carrying, and asked confusedly, is there a problem? Why are you here? With a look of deep affection, she said, you dumped Ningbing. Come back to me. I can give you a better life now. It pains me to see you suffering. Come back to me, and I will definitely make sure you live well. If it weren't for the memories of things regarding this woman, I might have been moved by the affection in her eyes. Liu Ruyan, the third miss of the Liu group, and the host's former girlfriend. Back when she was with the host, while enjoying his attentiveness, she mocked him for wanting to cling to a rich person. Although she was wealthy, she never spent a single cent on him. During their relationship, the host was always the one spending. He was summoned at her whim, and dismissed as easily. She was full of superiority. Not until Ningbing approached him did she put on this affectionate act, wanting the host to reject Ningbing. The host had been truly sincere to her, sacrificing his own food and clothing, saving money for her to spend, saving money for her. But this woman only wanted to play with him. Fortunately, the host was relatively rational, and hadn't fallen into her love trap. At first, he almost rejected Ningbing, but by chance, he learned about Ningbing's other side. Then the host gave up, and it was precisely because of this that the host felt that in this life, only money can be trusted, which led to him becoming someone who only knew how to spend money. It could be said that for the host's tragedy, this woman bears at least half the responsibility. And now that this scum woman has approached me, it's definitely not out of affection. I don't know what her hidden agenda is, but it's certainly not benevolent. Previously, Ningbing was someone she could only admire and look up to. Now that Ningbing has lost her power, if I'm easily lured away, it will surely deal another blow to Ningbing. Perhaps she wants to do something else to Ningbing. So I shook my head and said, I won't go with you. Go back to wherever you came from. Why? Ningbing is already a useless failure. She will only make you suffer. What do you want from her? As for being husband and wife, it means sharing blessings and enduring hardships together. I'm her husband, so naturally, I must stay by her side. No matter what she becomes, I cannot abandon her. Not to mention she's only temporarily failed. Even if she were crippled or disabled, I still had to care for her. This has nothing to do with suffering or lacking money. As long as she doesn't divorce me, I cannot leave her. Moreover, now is when she needs me the most. What nonsense are you talking about? If I'm not mistaken, she and you have almost no interaction, right? She keeps giving you money, letting you buy things. You have no feelings for her at all. Why suffer with her? Liu Ruyan saw me as if I were a fool. Who says she's not good to me? Back when she had money, she gave me plenty of money every month. Although she had no time to accompany me, I could spend money to my heart's content. It's this money, which might not mean much to her, but no one's money comes from the wind. Her giving it was kindness, not giving it would be expected. Since she gave it, I should be grateful for her kindness. Now that she has failed, even if we divorce, she still agreed to let me stay in the rented house, and is willing to give me most of the remaining money. She has already done more than enough for me. This is called being good? If this isn't called being good, then what is? We didn't have feelings for each other anyway. Based on character, doing this much is already great. You say she's not good. Are you any better? How am I not better? If you come with me, I will definitely treat you well. Before Liu Ruyan could continue, I interrupted her. In college, I had no money, and you always looked down on me, thinking I wanted to cling to a rich person like you. We've known each other nearly 2 years, and throughout our relationship, you didn't spend a single cent. Even the gifts you gave me were freebies from purchases. Instead, I worked hard at part-time jobs to earn money for you to spend. In the end, you turned around and dumped me. This is called being good? What nonsense are you talking? What kind of person do you take me for? Did you hear something from Ningbing and misunderstand me? Liu Ruyan's eyes turned dark. You overestimate yourself. Someone like Ningbing wouldn't mention you in front of me. She wouldn't even notice you. Only you would keep staring at her, trying to get her attention. This is what they call the kind of person you're. Is the kind of world you see? Go wherever you need to go. I don't want to say anything harsher. Liu Ruyan's eyes grew even darker. She took a few steps toward me and said with a fragile look, Xiaoyu, Ningbing must have brainwashed you. How could you think this way? I do like you. That Ningbing is out of money now, which is why she's clinging to you and won't let go. You can't be this foolish. Stop, don't come closer. In any case, abandoning a spouse during their downfall is not something a human being does. I won't leave her at a time like this. Give up on this idea. Even if I were to leave her, it would be when she no longer needs me. As Liu Ruyan was about to say more, a burst of applause and cheering erupted nearby. Good, good. Good. Well said, young man. Your values are truly upright. Yes, if people nowadays thought like this, there wouldn't be so many divorces. This young man is truly a good person. Your wife is lucky to have you. Then I notice, not far away, there was a group of elderly people clearly heading home after exercising. The elderly people came over, and the leading old man looked her up and down. Liu Ruyan couldn't help but shake her head. Hey, young lady. People are living happily with their spouses. Coming here to steal someone's partner is not decent at all. Think about it, if you were married, and women were trying to steal your partner all day, how would you feel? Don't do to others what you don't want done to you. You say that because the spouse has no money, they should divorce and follow you. Then can you guarantee that you will never have a day without money? This group of elderly people was like a triggered mechanism. Every one of them began to criticize. They didn't even give Liu Ruyan a chance to refute. In minutes, she became a morally bankrupt, value distorted, and hopelessly scummy woman. I quickly made room for the elderly, hiding behind the crowd and stifling a laugh. This person needs to be educated. You all must give her a good lesson. I have to go home and cook, so I'll head back first. We'll chat again when there's a chance. It's fine, you go on back. Leave this to us. Not far away, Ningbing and Gu Qinghan, who saw everything, sitting in the car, didn't move for a long while, seeing Liu Ruyan honestly admit her mistake and be let go by the elderly people. Gu Qinghan finally spoke in disbelief. Ningbing, that was Brother Xiaoyu now, right? Why do I feel like he's a different person? It was still him. Then Brother Xiaoyu is a good person, although I only knew he spent money recklessly before. But now that you're nominally bankrupt, he refuses to leave you, willing to suffer to stay by your side. And it's not even because he loves you, but out of a sense of morality. This is what those elderly people meant. His values are too upright. Ningbing also felt now that her perception of me had some deviation. After saying goodbye to Gu Qinghan, Ningbing went straight back home. As soon as she opened the door, she saw me holding a laptop, curled up on the carpet in front of the living room sofa, typing away rapidly. The room smelled of meat. You're back. Ningbing placed the fruit she bought by the coffee table, and came over curiously. Looking closely, she discovered I was writing a story. I thought I'd forgotten most of my major, but I still remember some things I learned before. Plus, I've always read novels, so I'm quite familiar with this area. I plan to try writing web novels. You don't mind, right? right? I asked, while my hands didn't stop moving. Ningbing felt this suited my situation. Anyway, she didn't expect me to make money. She didn't say yes or no, as long as you're happy. I know, this young lady probably looks down on these things, and probably doesn't understand them well. I had to change the subject. The ribs are already stewing. It'll probably be another hour before we can eat. Go ahead and get busy. Ningbing nodded, went to wash up, change clothes, and entered her room, and didn't come out again. An hour later, I called her out for dinner. 2 bowls of rice were on the dining table. The dishes were quite varied, red and green, looking beautiful. I even added some garnishes. It looked carefully prepared. It was also my first time making sweet and sour ribs. I don't know if they taste good. Give it a try. If not, I'll smash a cucumber later. Since my parents had an accident in college, I've lived by myself, influenced by my father and mother. My requirements for quality of life weren't too high, but definitely not low either. The house is cleaned regularly. I cook for myself whenever I have time. Life is disciplined, so my life skills are all fine. Saying this now was being polite. I wouldn't say my cooking is amazing, but I have home cooking skills. I used to be the chef at friends' gatherings, and received quite a bit of praise. Ningbing picked up a piece and put it in her mouth. Nodded. Not bad. It's quite delicious. That's good, then eat more. Life was a mess these past few days. You haven't eaten well, nor have you rested well. You've worked hard. I'll pour a glass of brewed lemon tea. Pushed it in front of her. This is lemon tea with a bit of honey to replenish vitamins. Drink as much as you can. Don't find it too sour. Ningbing had a probing look on her face. She felt the man before her was like a different person compared to the information she found before. And the 2 years they spent together, it didn't match at all. But she truly hadn't paid close attention. She couldn't say the information she found before was comprehensive. She could only suppress the doubt in her heart. Thank you for your hard work. No, I'm at home all day, sheltered from the wind and the rain, but you have to face so many things outside. It must be tiring. Eat more. I smiled, thinking about it. I know, Ningbing was once someone others couldn't even dream of reaching. When old Master Z was still alive, who would dare oppose their family? And Ningbing had been the most outstanding one since childhood. So many people were compared to her by their parents, and grew up feeling rejected. Now that old Master Bai is gone, the other distant branches of the family only think about how to divide the Bai family's assets. What's left? They can't wait for Ningbing to collapse. They won't lend a helping hand at all. They'd rather kick her while she's down, watching someone once far above them be trampled under their feet. Before I transmigrated, I didn't understand when reading the novel why Ningbing insisted on not letting her friends help her. Clearly, if she had accepted their help, she wouldn't have fallen into ruin. Unfortunately, the relationship between us isn't that great now, so I was too embarrassed to ask. Thinking that Ningbing was once a young lady of a wealthy family, she probably had her own considerations. I don't know how Ningbing liked the meal, but I, for one, ate to my heart's content. I reckon Ningbing probably doesn't dislike my cooking, because she ate 2 bowls. I'll put the dishes in the kitchen first. You don't have to move. I'll wash them after my afternoon nap. I tossed the dishes into the kitchen sink, washed some fruit, carried them out and placed them on the coffee table. Continued to huddle there and type, writing things I had thought about before. Word count, 2000. The speed was naturally fast. Plus, my typing speed had long been trained. In that short time this morning, I had already finished a 2,000-word outline. At this rate, I estimate that if I finish 20,000 words tomorrow, I can submit it. Ningbing and I are in a special period right now. We need money. I don't understand business matters, so I can only earn more money to relieve Ningbing's pressure. Ningbing returned to her room again. The door closed, and I don't know what she was doing inside. It was almost 1:30. I forced myself to turn off the computer and went to take an afternoon nap. The living room became quiet. In her bedroom, Ningbing hesitated. She replied to Gu Qinghan on her phone, "Forget it. I'll see how he does next. You don't need to check for now. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Let's wait a bit longer." Less than an hour later, the alarm went off. I crawled out of bed, feeling a bit dizzy. I groped my way to the bathroom, and found that the door was closed, complaining to myself in my head, while grabbing the handle and pulling the door open. As I stepped in, I looked up and locked eyes with the person inside. Locked eyes, sorry, I was half asleep, and thought I was the only one here. After shouting that, I ran back to my room with a red face and closed the door, wishing I could slap myself to death. It was truly too embarrassing. It took me a long while to compose myself, and open the door to go out. Ningbing happened to be coming out of the bathroom. The two of us locked eyes once again. Although there was a distance of a few feet between us, us. It's okay, don't be too embarrassed. This house is small. We'll be seeing each other all the time. You'll get used to it. Yes, I'll get used to it. Are you not going out today? The things I needed to do today are already finished. I'm not going out this afternoon. After Ningbing finished speaking, she thought of something. I haven't been home these past few days. Is there anything you need help with? I felt a bit nervous. What's wrong? Is something the matter? Although I grew up in the Bai family, it's not as if I lack basic life skills. Now that we live together in this small home, so you can tell me directly if there's anything. I'm not good at making money. Okay, I understand. Looking at Ningbing's serious expression, I found it quite cute. Whether she is successful or not in business, her looks are truly flawless. As the most beautiful woman created by the author, she is stunning even when expressionless. I think that facing such a woman, and not being attracted, is truly impressive. After Ningbing finished speaking, she gave me a meaningful look, and then returned to her room. At that moment, I realized something. I stood up and ran to her door. What do you want to eat tonight? Anything, I'm not picky. She is easier to care for than I thought. I strolled back. I continued typing by the coffee table. As I finished a chapter, I remembered the items I listed secondhand. Quickly opened it to check. Good grief. 12 watches and 2 outfits sold. I don't know luxury prices, so when I listed them before, I first checked online and listed them 20% off. Many of these items were still sealed, but I was afraid Ningbing might need money urgently later, so I didn't dare list them too expensively. I was worried no one would be willing to buy them because they were expensive. They sold so fast. I recorded all the shipping addresses. After I saved the file, I ran into the room to find the watches and clothes, because there were quite a few things to send. I planned to call for a courier pickup. Half an hour later, everything was packed. The courier arrived. Ningbing probably heard the commotion and opened the door to come out. What are you doing? There were too many clothes and watches from before. I don't go out now, and they take up too much space sitting there, so I set some aside to sell them. These are the ones sold today. I need to send the items to the buyers early. No need. We aren't at the point where you need to sell things. It's mainly because they take up space, and they are no longer the latest products. I won't use them anyway. Better to sell them for money. That way, if I see a new product I like later, I can still buy it. Saying it this way should save the young Miss's face, right? I thought I was being quite thoughtful, but I don't know which word touched the young miss. Ningbing's hand trembled as she held mine. Then she let go. She didn't stop me anymore. She said, okay, buy new ones later. How could I dare buy new ones? One watch costs tens of thousands. Enough for half a year of expenses. Buying a few watches would leave me eating dirt. I complained like this in my heart, but I didn't show it on the surface at all. She's a rich young miss, after all. They all care about their image. I put on a smile. I'll wait for you to buy me a new watch later. Ningbing was dazzled by this smile, which was familiar, but had felt strange lately. It momentarily stunned her. She looked down slightly and saw the packed boxes on the floor. She bent down to help, putting them into the courier's package, until the courier left with the items. Ningbing then asked me how many I planned to sell. There were originally over 100 watches, and over 80 sets of clothes. Among them, over 70 watches were unopened. I planned to sell them all. Of the remaining 50, I'll sell about 40. Keeping 10 watches should be enough. As for the clothes, I'll keep around 30 sets, and sell the rest. I thought Ningbing was going to stop me. Unexpectedly, Ningbing nodded, and didn't say anything more. She randomly picked up an apple, and started peeling it while sitting on the sofa. I couldn't gauge her thoughts, nor did I know if doing this had hurt her self-esteem. However, life is always more important than these messy thoughts. Even if she minded, there was nothing I could do. I already checked this morning. The house prices in this novel have only risen halfway. I don't know what Ningbing's plans are, or if she will truly make a comeback later, but no matter what happens, I must find a way to buy a house first. By selling the watches and clothes, I can afford a down payment. Then I'll give the remaining money to Ningbing, and pay off the house slowly myself. This way, even if the young miss cannot make a comeback, we won't end up without a place to stay. While my mind wandered, I stared at the computer screen by the coffee table. There was no sound, but a peeled apple appeared before me. The fragrance of the apple wafted toward me. The skin was peeled evenly and beautifully. I couldn't help but swallow. I realized it was Ningbing who held the peeled apple and offered it to me. Is this for me? Ningbing pushed the apple forward again. You've suffered. I was truly flattered. In the original story, Ningbing never approached men and had little patience for them. Now she is peeling an apple for me, and peeling it so beautifully is too surprising. I quickly took the apple and said it was nothing. After all, it was bought with your money. You didn't mind my extravagance before. I'm already grateful. Ningbing smiled. She usually has a cold face, although not extremely cold. She still feels hard to approach. She smiled. I was stunned. How could there be such a beautiful woman in this world? Don't worry, I'll definitely buy you more watches later. I nodded subconsciously. I came back to myself, a bit shy. I believe you will definitely make a comeback. Don't be in a hurry. I'll wait for your watches. Keep it up. You can definitely do it. Ningbing stood up and returned to her room with a slight smile. In a place I couldn't see, a hint of amusement flashed in her eyes. I spent the whole afternoon rushing my manuscript. Finally managed to write over 10,000 words. The two of us had a simple dinner. Continued doing our own things. I stayed up until 12 o'clock at night. I successfully finished 20,000 words. After eating breakfast the next morning, as soon as Ningbing left, I started working on the submission, checking the second-hand websites, sold another 8 watches and a set of clothes. I could almost see piles of money constantly pouring into my wallet. I was in a good mood. As I finished organizing and submitted the manuscript, I heard someone knocking on the door. Who is it? I stood up and was going to open the door. I heard a man speaking outside the door. It's me, Liu Jingnian. Who is Liu Jingnian? I thought back while going to open the door. After thinking for a long time, I couldn't find this person in my memories. I opened the door and saw there was only one man outside. He had a sort of roguish, handsome look. Seeing me, he looked me up and down with a calculating gaze, making me feel uncomfortable. Won't you invite me in to sit for a while? Liu Jingnian said as he tried to enter. I wasn't sure who this guy was. I quickly blocked him. Who are you looking for? If it's Gu Xiaoyu, then I've come to find you. The other party leaned and squeezed into the room. Sister Bai isn't here right now, is she? He had already squeezed in. It would be awkward to kick him out now, so I had to close the door. I poured him tea. She's not here, she went out early this morning. Is there something you want with me? Of course there's. To be honest, although you look decent enough, you have neither family background nor ability. Sister Bai was truly wronged by marrying you. I know. Back then, it was because Grandpa Bai wanted to repay a kindness that he let you marry Sister Bai. But you've been married to her for so many years. You couldn't help her in her career. All day, besides shopping and playing. You know nothing else. Do you feel any shame? May I venture to ask, who are you to Ningbing? Sister Bai and I grew up as childhood sweethearts. She was especially good to me. If it weren't for you, we might have been together long ago. But I've never heard of you. Isn't that obvious? Do you think Sister Bai would mention our childhood sweetheart relationship in front of you? It seems Ningbing indeed wouldn't mention it to the original owner. First, they weren't close. Second, she wouldn't be meddlesome. I nodded. So, what is the purpose of you coming to find me? Now is exactly when Sister Bai needs help. How can you have the nerve to keep holding her back? My father has already agreed. As long as we get married, he will help Sister Bai make a comeback. So you should divorce her. If Ningbing wants to divorce me, she can come and tell me directly. Why does she need you to convey it? I'm not someone who clings desperately. Or is this your own intention? How could Sister Bai take the initiative to do such a tasteless thing? Of course she's too embarrassed to say it. You have to take the initiative yourself. You spent so much of her money, and haven't helped her with anything these years. She has never made things difficult for you. Now that she's in trouble, you can't provide much help. Shouldn't you at least stop being a burden to her? You take the initiative to propose divorce. She goes along with it. Everyone saves face. Is this Ningbing's intention? This is my intention. Why don't you understand yet? Sister Bai is not the kind of person to do such a thing. What's needed now is for us to take the initiative to help her. Divorce her first, so that I can marry her, and then she can receive my father's help. If this is Ningbing's intention, then proposing a divorce is certainly no problem. But you said this is your intention. Then I'd like to ask, before Ningbing and I got married, were you and she in a romantic relationship? Do you love her? Liu Jingnian's movement of drinking water froze. That's not important. He is not good at expressing himself. Besides, he doesn't like you. I can help him, while you will only drag him down. I'm 100 times more suitable for him than you. You're wrong. Perhaps I don't know Ningbing's character well, but I'm certain that she will never easily accept your father's help, especially this kind of help, which comes as an exchange for marrying you. You think persuading your father to help her is for her own good, but you've never considered, if she relies on your father to make a comeback, how will she establish her reputation before the world? She will never be able to escape. Known for marrying into power. I indeed don't know Ningbing well, but I believe the villain described in the original novel is not someone willing to live off others. In fact, if it weren't for her refusal to bow down, she wouldn't have faced so many hardships and risks. A person like that, how could she accept using her marriage as a bargaining chip to exchange for her own comeback? At least in the short term, she won't. I don't mind divorcing Ningbing, but absolutely not by being manipulated by others. I made my attitude clear. Whatever Ningbing wants is her own business. I will absolutely respect her choice. Liu Jingnian seemed as if his tail had been stepped on. He exploded. You want to hold her back and not divorce her, right? How can you be such a selfish man? Sister Bai has already done everything she could for you. Now that she finally has a chance for a comeback, you want to personally wipe it away. You're truly disgusting. Mr. Liu, I have been polite enough to you. Don't say that you rushed over here today to say a bunch of inappropriate things. If people didn't know, they would think you're eager to destroy someone else's family. The marriage between me and Ningbing. Since when is it an outsider's place to interfere? Even if you have good intentions to help Ningbing, you still shouldn't have come to me to say these things. If you want to help her, then go talk to her. I cannot make decisions for her. I'm not the type to cling desperately. This matter of not divorcing, if you think about it, you'll know. If she liked you before Grandpa Bai found me, why didn't you get married? If you say the feelings weren't deep enough, then why weren't you even a couple? You keep saying that she is not the kind of person to betray trust, but your current behavior is clearly betraying trust on her behalf. Moreover, you haven't considered the specific issues for her at all. On what basis do you say that? You useless pretty boy. On what basis do you judge me, you useless pretty boy? On what basis do you judge me? Based on the fact that I'm still her husband in name. As long as I'm still her husband, I have the right to speak to anyone who wants to interfere in our marriage. I used to only know how to spend money on things, and didn't help her much, but she used to agree to let me buy them. She didn't mind. Why are you in such a hurry? If you want to marry her, then go talk to her. As long as you reach a consensus with her, I will definitely divorce her without a second word. If you say it to me here, I won't agree. You, shameless. Liu Jingnian slammed the cup onto the table in anger. I was no longer angry, calmly playing with my own cup. You, someone who wants to destroy another's marriage, don't even feel shameless. Where do you get the courage to call me shameless? Since you think I'm shameless, I suppose we have nothing more to say to each other. In the end, you're unwilling to divorce. Assume that I'm unwilling to divorce. Having received a definite answer, knowing that he couldn't achieve his goal today, Liu Jingnian stood up abruptly and left in a rage. Before leaving, he didn't forget to turn back and say to me, "You wait. Sister Z will eventually dump you." The door closed once again. I let out a faint sigh. It's one thing for the female lead to be liked, but even the villain is this likable. If it weren't for my conscience, I would quite like to divorce, but that's a thought. I can't bring myself to do it. Taking over someone's body and treating it as a matter of course. Although I wasn't the one spending that money, but now, nominally, it's all my account, isn't it? Putting this matter behind me, I opened a web page, recorded the address and style. Then I went to my room to rummage through the watches to be sold. After packing everything, I'll call the courier. Things sold today also need to be sent out early. These items sold are worth about 2 million. Once the buyers receive the goods, a large sum of money will be added to my bank card. If I sell a few more things later, I can buy a small apartment, pay a down payment, and then become a homeowner. Thinking about this, I felt full of motivation. I didn't want to write for now, so I opened a web page and started searching for housing in this city. I must choose the apartment carefully. After looking for a while, it was almost noon. I didn't even have time to close the web page and rushed to cook. This morning, when Miss Bai left, she told me she would come back for lunch. It's all my fault. I was too immersed in imagining a beautiful future that I forgot to check the time. I planned to have wontons for lunch. The filling had been prepared early this morning, and I bought the wonton wrappers yesterday, so my movements were quite skillful, as if they had formed a kind of rhythm, one every few seconds, and in no time, I had wrapped over 20. While I was wrapping, Miss Bai returned. I was wrapping so intently that I didn't even look up. "You're back." what are you doing? Ningbing stood at the doorway, only seeing my fast movements, but not exactly what I was doing. She instinctively asked a question. Wrapping wontons. We're having wontons for lunch today. Then I'll make some pancakes, so we won't have to worry about not being full. I said this naturally. Making pancakes and wrapping wontons is not something an ordinary person who only knows home cooking can accomplish. The suspicion in Ningbing's heart surfaced again, but in the next moment, seeing me sitting there quietly, skillfully wrapping wontons, she felt there was nothing to dwell on. Speaking of which, I haven't eaten this in a long time. Ningbing couldn't help but say this. Then, feeling it was strange, she shut her mouth again and walked into the bathroom to wash her hands as if hiding something. I didn't notice her strangeness at all. I also like eating wontons, thinking that during this recent period, Ningbing had so many business matters, she had no mind to eat. Plus, wontons are a snack, so it was normal to miss them. Then do you want to eat more? If you want to, I'll boil a few more later. I'll wrap the rest and freeze them in the fridge. If you don't want to cook, boil them. Then boil a few more. Ningbing said this after washing her hands and coming out. She hadn't eaten snacks for a long time. The last time was 3 or 4 years ago. If I hadn't mentioned this, she might not have even realized how long it had been since she last relaxed. Okay, then I'll boil more later, I said, while my hands didn't stop moving. In my view, life is full of hope and small happinesses. Days are lived by the people. It's already lucky to live once more. Every gift in life should be cherished. Being able to sit here and wrap wontons and eat wontons is happiness. Nearly an hour later, 2 bowls of steaming wontons were on the table. Ningbing was called out by me, and I had already sat down. I tilted my head and nodded, gesturing for Ningbing to sit quickly. There was a smile of anticipation on my face. Quick, try some. I feel the wontons I wrapped are quite good. I don't know how much your appetite is, but wontons alone aren't filling, so I made some wraps. By the way, do you eat wraps? Hearing me say this, she found it a bit funny, but she didn't show it. Of course I do. I'm a normal person. After saying that, she sat down and tasted one, savored it and gave her evaluation. The taste is not bad. See, I told you my wontons were good, mainly because I like eating them. Since it's not bad, then eat more. The two of us had different eating speeds. Although Ningbing only ate about half as much as I did, she finished almost at the same time as me. This time, when I was about to wash the dishes, she spoke and looked back. I'll buy a dishwasher. It's a few dishes. It doesn't take much effort. No need to spend more money. It's not worth much. It's fine, Ningbing said casually. I instantly showed a conflicted expression. What's wrong, eldest miss? She still hasn't changed her attitude. She hasn't realized that we now are no longer the wealthy people we used to be. I was conflicted about whether to remind she directly, but looking at her slightly frowning face, the words I intended to use changed as soon as I spoke. Alright, I'll go buy one later. You don't need to worry about it. I'm a picky person. I may take a while to choose. After saying that, I sighed in my heart. Being beautiful is an advantage. I couldn't even bring myself to say a single word. That might hurt she's pride. Anyway, since I already said I'm picky, it's normal if I spend a long time and can't find one I'm satisfied with. Ningbing saw my conflicted expression and understood in her heart what her husband was conflicted about. She had a strange feeling. Although she was forced by her grandfather in the first half of her life, she had also suffered from lack of money. But after completing her training at 15, she had never experienced the feeling of being broke again. This time, it wasn't that she had no money, but that her husband in name thought she had none. But even so, he didn't say anything about being poor to her face. This feeling was magical, and she couldn't quite explain what she was thinking. I have things to do. I'm going back to my room first. After Ningbing finished speaking, she turned and went back to her room, leaving me alone to continue washing dishes. I hummed a song while washing the dishes. Life is going quite well. I have a house to live in, food to eat, and the watches and clothes sold for a good price. I'll soon have a house of my own again. Life later will surely get better and better. She is capable. Making a comeback is only a matter of time. Maybe she'll even give me some money then. Even if she can't get back up, it's fine. I can support the family myself. For now, with her here, who is barely a friend, then someone can care for her if needed. She won't be idle forever. When the time comes to live an ordinary life, if she wants a divorce, I'll divorce her, and then slowly find the right person. It's also good if we both fare well. After washing the dishes, I went to write for a while. I was preparing for a nap. Then, Ningbing opened the door and walked out. Did Liu Jingnian come to make things difficult for you today? I wouldn't call it making things difficult. He asked me to take the initiative to divorce you. I refused. I thought there was nothing between you and him. If you like him, We can divorce at any time. He also said his father could help you. As long as you two get married, there's nothing between him and me, and I won't divorce you because of him. You did well. As for other matters, we'll talk about them later. I don't need anyone's help for now. These things are not something his father can solve. I understand. I thought so too. I got up to nap in my room. Ningbing spoke, looking at me inquisitively. Do you have anything else to do? Since when did you develop the habit of napping? My body stiffened. I explained with a hint of guilt. I realized that my previous sleep habits weren't good, and my physical health was quite poor, so I'm forcing myself to adjust. You could also try taking a midday nap. You'll have more energy in the afternoon, and be more efficient. Then go rest. Ningbing stood up and went back to her room, leaving me standing there feeling uneasy, wondering if I had said something wrong. After facing the major upheaval of family bankruptcy, who wouldn't make some changes? Ningbing, having entered her room, sat back at the table expressionlessly, falling into deep thought. After a while, she still seemed unable to make up her mind, but instead opened her phone and made a call. Buy a dishwasher and have it delivered to me in the next few days. Some things still need to be observed. Until then, let's continue with the current situation. After hanging up, Ningbing put the phone on the table, and happened to see the bed beside her. The words I had said came back to her mind. Is napping that good? Before she could snap out of it, she had already unconsciously lied down on the bed, feeling her body relax. It did seem to feel quite good. She had been busy with various things these past few years. She hadn't for a long time. I finally had a peaceful, good sleep. Unconsciously, it was already 2:30 p.m. I stepped out of my room, gave a big stretch, and went to the bathroom to wash my face. As I stepped out of the bathroom, I saw Ningbing coming out of her room. Her eyes were still a bit dazed. Good heavens, is she always like this when she wakes up? She's too beautiful. To think someone like this is a villain. The author must have put a lot of effort into shaping this villain, yet gave her such a tragic ending in the end. What a pity. As I thought this to myself, I didn't notice my expression, unintentionally showing a hint of pity. Ningbing saw it. That expression of pity seemed to startle Ningbing. She looked away. Do you need to use the bathroom? No, I'm already done. Please, go ahead. I quickly stepped aside. Once Ningbing went in, I shrugged my shoulders, sat back in front of the computer, and was going to start typing. As I opened, I saw a friend request. The note said she was an editor. Ningbing heard the noise outside, and came out after washing her hands. What's wrong? My novel passed the preliminary review. Once the third and final reviews pass, it can be turned into some money. Then congratulations. Same to you, same to you. After saying that, I ignored Ningbing, immersed in my novel, and continued typing. Seeing me busy with the computer, Ningbing went back to the bathroom. In the afternoon, I contacted the courier for pickup. A young lady came. Mr. Gu, do you run an online shop? These watches all look quite nice. If possible, could you sell me one at a discount? I plan to give it to my boyfriend as a gift. I was stunned and waved my hands repeatedly. I'm sorry, I don't run an online shop. I'm helping a friend ship items. The price of these watches seems not to be cheap. They all look over 10,000. I can't decide on so much money. If you need one, I can ask for you. Over 10,000? Heavens, then these watches must be luxury goods. I don't know either. Maybe they are. Either way, they're quite expensive. As I was speaking, the elevator door next to us opened. Ningbing walked out. She heard everything I said. What's wrong? Nothing. The courier lady wanted to buy a watch, but the watches aren't mine. I thought maybe I could ask for her if the friend could give a discount. No. Since these watches are luxury goods, then forget it. I'm an ordinary citizen. I can't usually wear such expensive watches. Is this all for the delivery? If this is all, I'll pack up and get ready to leave. I'll ship them shortly. Yes, only these. Then I'll leave it to you. The courier lady picked up the parcels and left in the elevator. Then I realized I was blocking the doorway, and quickly let Ningbing in. Why are you back so soon? Not many things to handle today. Why say the watches belong to someone else? It's not appropriate to say they are yours. We live here, and the security situation is unclear. If the truth is exposed, there might be danger. Besides, that courier company has been here a few times, so they are familiar. I'll still need help shipping things later. If I said they were mine, but didn't give a big discount, they might feel resentful later. And what if they sabotage my goods? Although it can be handled through official procedures, it's still a hassle. After all, you can know a person's face but not their heart. Plus, our relationship is mediocre. It's not worth the risk. Thoughtful. By the way, there's a cocktail party in a few days, and we need to attend it together. Start preparing early. I've hardly ever been to a cocktail party. Will going at this time cause you trouble? It's fine, at this time. Now no one can cause me trouble anymore. Even if there's trouble, I won't care about a bit. Ningbing calmly picked up the cup on the table, pouring a glass of water. These words made me feel uneasy. Alright, I will prepare well. Over the next 2 days, Ningbing still left early and returned late, but she would eat at home in the morning and evening. I habitually prepared 2 meals every morning and evening, while I honestly wrote and sold things every day, and searched how to attend banquets. This day, Ningbing entered and found. This day, as soon as Ningbing entered, she found. I wasn't curled up by the sofa as usual, but as soon as I heard the door open, I saw her with burning eyes. My expression was also strange. She saw the clothes on the sofa, and asked, "What's wrong? Buying so many clothes? Miss, please help me. I haven't attended a banquet in a long time. I have no idea what style of clothes is suitable now. These are the formal outfits I've picked out as relatively suitable. Take a look and see which one is better. Didn't you used to like picking your own clothes?" At that time, the environment changed. I was a bit sensitive, so I insisted on picking them myself to maintain my little bit of dignity. But now I've realized, a person is who they are. There's no need to be so sensitive and be looked down upon. Better to openly admit that I don't know how. It seems you've thought it through. Then quickly see which outfit is more suitable. I can't decide. Ningbing looked back and forth and randomly pointed to a classic black suit. This one. It's not flashy and quite suitable. Okay, then this one. Once the formal wear was decided, I put the other clothes away. When leaving for the banquet, Ningbing personally drove me there. I sat in the back seat. Ningbing glanced at me through the rearview mirror. Wearing so little. Will you be cold? It's okay, it's long-sleeved after all. It's not particularly cold. Why do I feel that your attitude toward me is a bit strange? How could that be? We have no grievances with each other, and you're still so good to me. I can't thank you enough, mainly because we didn't have much contact before. Lately we see each other every day. I'm a bit unused to it. It'll get better over time. Ningbing looked in the rearview mirror. I rubbed the back of my head. The fake smile disappeared. Looking lost, I lost the desire to speak. Neither of us said anything more. Soon we arrived at the city's largest hotel. As Ningbing and I arrived at the entrance, someone intentionally or unintentionally blocked the way. The person blocking us was a slightly obese man with greasy hair. His arm was linked by a glamorously dressed woman. With blatant ill intentions on his face, the land on the east side of the city. Guan Yuan Group has been keeping a close eye on it lately. Doesn't President Li want to take a look? President Li was stunned. His expression twisted. Then he forced a smile. President Bai is as elegant as ever. Long time no see. It's a pleasure to meet you. Ningbing ignored him and directly led me around him to continue inside. I followed Ningbing into the banquet. I saw several fair-weather friends from my past memories. They were all the live-in husbands or sons of various young ladies, and none of them were well regarded. Some saw me holding a glass and wanted to come over, but after seeing Ningbing beside me, they all obediently shrank back. Some even winked at me. "You're not going over? Why should I? Seeking death? I'm not going. We weren't close to begin with. It was a superficial relationship. Now the situation has changed. It's better not to be friends." After walking a few steps, 2 more young men and the women linking their arms came over. The man walking faster was slightly older, about 30 years old, with a fake smile on his face. "Isn't this Miss Bai, whom we haven't seen in a long time? And this person beside you is..." Look at my memory. I'm getting old. Ah, it seems he's Miss Bai's husband, right? It's rare to see you two out together today. Is life not going well? Are you short on money lately? I've heard that the two of you don't get along. Looking at you, it must be that others are talking nonsense. Long time no see. I thought Mr. Tang was in poor health and couldn't get up. So you can get up. Some smart people, when they fall in one place, know to avoid it next time. Some people who aren't as smart won't be satisfied until they've fallen and died in every possible place. Mr. Tang, wouldn't you agree? Yes, it's that some pits were pits before, but now they are treasures lying on the ground. When people see a treasure, naturally, everyone wants to pick it up. I believe Miss Bai understands what I mean. By the way, I heard Miss Bai has encountered some business problems recently. Since we've known each other, I'll kindly remind Miss Bai of one thing. Sometimes, wealth isn't necessarily money. It could also be people. I subconsciously clenched my fists and stood in front of Ningbing. Then, a female voice came from the side. "Second sister, why are you here?" The expressions of the 2 men opposite changed. They both stepped back as she strolled over. What do you two mean by standing here? My second sister. Since when has she been someone you can talk to casually? Have the Tangensher families become so uncouth? Why are you still standing here? Are you waiting for me to invite you to leave? Do you think I'm as good-tempered as my second sister? The two men nodded and turned to leave. Their female companions curiously tried to look back at Xiao Rongyu, but were harshly scolded by them. Second sister, you're something. Why did you bring him along? Bringing him is one thing, but you didn't even tell me. Those two idiots now dared to try and get your attention. You're far too good-tempered. It's fine, they're a few clowns. As for you, I don't usually see you at these kinds of events. Why did you come this time? Wasn't I afraid that if you came, you'd run into some blind fools? I went through a lot of trouble to get my manager to cancel my events, but luckily I came. Otherwise those two unlucky bastards, who knows what they would have said. Xiao Rongyu turned to look at me, her gaze assessing, scanning me from head to toe. Given my second sister's current situation, you've got no chance of squeezing money out of her, so there's no need to pretend anymore. Leave when you should. I smiled awkwardly and said nothing. Don't talk nonsense. We aren't divorced yet. Let's go and sit over there. Alright, I'll go with you. With Xiao Rongyu sitting nearby. Finally, no one else approached us. Among these people, anyone with any status knows that Xiao Rongyu is someone not to be messed with. I thought I'd face many awkward scenes coming here, but after sitting for a while, Ningbing wanted to take me and leave. Xiao Rongyu tried to ask Ningbing what she was doing. After being rejected by Ningbing, the two of them went back together. Sitting in the car, I saw Ningbing driving in front, hesitated for 3 minutes, before gathering the courage to speak. Did you achieve your purpose for attending the party today? I suppose so. Before, didn't I sell all those watches and clothes? Now I have a small amount of money. I was thinking, since the assets have been settled, and we have no debts, why not buy a small apartment? We can pay a down payment first, and I'll pay the rest back with my royalties. Keep the remaining money for 6 months of living expenses for emergencies, and use the rest if you want to start a business or something. Ningbing was stunned, looking at me through the rearview mirror. Not in a hurry? How could I not be in a hurry? Housing prices change every day now. If we don't buy quickly, it will definitely be a loss the longer we wait. Renting a house is not a long-term solution. If you mind or feel uneasy, it's fine to put the house in your name. With a house, at least we can ensure that we won't have nowhere to stay later. Okay, I'll consider it. After returning home that evening, I went back to my room to continue writing, but Ningbing received a phone call. Second sister, I've found the information you asked me to investigate. I sent an encrypted file to your email. I haven't revealed this information to anyone. Please take a look. Ningbing's laptop stayed on the email page. She let out a soft sigh. Her index finger, intentionally or not, tapped the desktop in a certain rhythm. His brow furrowed slightly. After a long while, he picked up his phone and made a call. Hello, Master Wang? I want to ask something. Could a person in this world, without having a double personality or schizophrenia, seem to have become another person? Meaning even their habits and values seem to have shifted. A few minutes later, after hanging up the phone, Ningbing relaxed his body and leaned back in the seat. A smile curved on his expressionless face, soul returning to a borrowed body. The next morning, Ningbing slowly and deliberately finished eating a flour roll bun. He looked up, as if something had piqued his interest. What kind of stories do you usually write in your novels? I paused, holding the bun. What I write? A bit of everything, I guess. I usually don't limit myself to a few genres. I want to write everything, but my favorite is still transmigration novels. I love transmigration and imaginative plot twists. Does this thing called transmigration exist? Yes, I think it truly exists. What exactly is the world? No one can say for sure. Sometimes, we feel we live in a real world. But maybe it's a world constructed by someone else's pen. Who knows what the world is like, since even this cannot be confirmed. How can one dare say transmigration doesn't exist? A world constructed by a pen. Of course, in someone else's story, we might be an unknown extra. Or even the original owner. Then if you were to transmigrate, what would your previous life have been? Probably a pretty happy person, loving parents, and an only child, able to do whatever I wanted. Maybe the parents would pass away, but I studied a major I loved. No lack of food, drink, or money. Life was going quite well. If I transmigrated in the end, it would probably be from saving someone and getting stabbed by a thug. A unlucky way to die. That way of dying is indeed quite unlucky. So one should think twice before acting. Even with good intentions, one must act within their capabilities. Yes, this is truly important. After that, the two didn't mention the topic again. After breakfast, Ningbing went out. I stayed in the room typing. Ningbing didn't come back for lunch. I happily ordered takeout. After eating, I quickly tidied up and took out the trash. In the afternoon, I shipped the sold items as usual. Then I went out to buy ingredients. As I walked through the supermarket, I realized that my life now doesn't seem much different from my previous life. As I was thinking, an older woman spoke to me. "Aren't you the one, the young man who was pestered by that scum woman, out buying groceries too? Oh, it's you. I'm out buying some vegetables to cook dinner tonight." Not bad, not bad. Not many young people know how to cook these days. Your wife is truly blessed to have married you. No, she's busy with work all day, so I've been doing more of the housework lately. Meeting her is my true blessing. As long as a person knows how to be grateful, their life won't be bad. Young man, at your age, having such thoughts is the rarest thing. If your wife is as grateful as you're, then your future days will surely get better and better. I smiled and picked out a suitable cauliflower. As I was about to check the tomatoes, Ningbing appeared beside me unnoticed. "Why are you here?" "I came back early, so I came to buy a few things, and happened to see you." "It's okay, I only have 4 types of vegetables. They aren't heavy." "It's fine, go buy your things. I see the tomatoes over there look good. I want to make sweet and sour pork ribs." Ningbing quite likes sour food, bought many ingredients and plenty of essential snacks, then went to buy A4 paper. Went to buy A4 paper again. Then the two of them went to check out together. "Oh, young man, we meet again. Could this be your wife? She is truly beautiful." "Yes, this is my wife. I've truly never seen such a beautiful young lady. She looks even better than a movie star. No wonder you're unwilling to divorce. That person who came to pester you before is truly far inferior compared to your wife. Not only is her appearance lacking, but her temperament is also far worse. I don't know how she had the nerve to come find you back then." I gasped. My heart leaped into my throat. Ningbing saw me with a meaningful gaze. I gave an awkward smile. "The auntie is right. That person is not a good person. They can't be compared. Even if I went crazy, I could never have any more contact with that kind of person. Her coming to find me was with ill intentions. Luckily, I'm not as foolish as I was before. Not so easy to deceive." The cashier swiped the card and handed the card back to me with both hands. "Sir, your card." "Goodbye, auntie." I quickly walked out with Ningbing. After leaving the supermarket, I began to explain, "I think you should know. Before I married you, I once had an ex-girlfriend named Liu Ruyan. Back in college, I didn't understand the malice of human hearts, so I fell for a scumbag like her. Of course, after marrying you, I had already cut off all contact with her. That day, as I came out of the supermarket, I ran into her coming to find me. I knew of course that she had ill intentions, so when she wanted me to go with her, I refused. That auntie was one of the kind people who helped teach her a lesson." Ningbing nodded, indicating that she knew Liu Ruyan, the second daughter of the Liu group. "I heard she's stingy." "Yes, she's indeed stingy. Back then she pretended to be sophisticated, as if she were some kind of elite. Back then, the original owner wasn't me. I thought she was an exceptionally outstanding senior, so I felt a bit inferior in front of her. Who knew that I later heard her say that she liked my classmate and was playing with me. It makes me furious talking about it. I'm disgusted by scumbags like her. Stay away from her later." "Yeah, I definitely won't pay her any attention. That kind of scumbag. Paying attention to her is a waste of life." After returning, I tidied up and started cooking. Ningbing walked into the kitchen. "Do you need help?" I was almost startled. I quickly waved my hand. "No need, I can handle it by myself. You have so many things to do all day. Go tend to your business. When it's time to eat later, I'll give you a call." Ningbing nodded and turned to leave. With an apron tied around me, I continued to be busy. The food was ready and set on the table. I went over and knocked on Ningbing's door. Ningbing let go of the mouse in her hand and casually closed all the pages. Then she stood up to eat. The two of us usually didn't have much to say. I didn't feel like initiating a conversation either, but today was an exception. Ningbing spoke as soon as she sat down. "Someone will come to install a dishwasher tomorrow." My hand paused while picking up food. "A dishwasher? You bought a dishwasher? Didn't you say I should take my time picking one? Didn't you say you have decision paralysis? So I picked one for you. You need to use it." I felt a bit helpless. "Then I'll try my best not to go out tomorrow." The conversation ended. As we were about to continue eating, my phone rang. "Hello? I was stunned. I didn't react for a while. Why would Ningbing let me see Song Jingnian? Song Jingnian's voice continued to come from the other end. Xiao Yu, don't be hostile to everyone because you've encountered a setback. Not everyone is thinking of stepping on you, or laughing at your expense. Even if I can't do much, I can still chat with you, to make you feel a bit better. You've been aggrieved for so long. Do you want to keep suffering in silence? In the past, in front of the original owner, Song Jingnian always played the role of a confidant, an intellectual older brother figure. The original owner would tell him everything. That's why whatever he told the original owner to do, the original owner would do it. And because of this, when facing the original owner's cold attitude, Song Jingnian would subconsciously think the original owner was acting aloof. Fine, since you put it that way, I will go see you. I want to see what you have to say. I received a signal from Ningbing, so I had to agree. The person on the other end sounded relieved. We chatted for a few more words and hung up. Why do you want me to see him? Ningbing put down her chopsticks and said indifferently, Mr. Meng has always been one who doesn't move without profit. When he looked for you before, it was an attempt to get intelligence regarding my movements from you. Now, in a situation where you no longer have utility value, yet he still comes to find you, it must be that he has found something else in you that can be used. If you don't go, he will find another way. I understood instantly. The subtext was that since I can't avoid it sooner or later, it's better to give the other party a clean chance to approach me from the start. Sure enough, Ningbing's next sentence was that no matter when, keeping some initiative for oneself is always better than having no initiative at all. Moreover, being guarded after knowing the other's ill intentions is better than being in the dark and being plotted against behind one's back. Yes, I understand. It's not that I don't know this logic, it's that my previous living environment didn't require me to think this much. I still haven't fully adapted to my current role, much less adapted to the current environment. However, Miss Bai is usually taciturn for her to mention these things to me. Is she teaching me? Opposite me, Ningbing picked up her chopsticks again and began to eat slowly and deliberately. From my perspective, this woman's posture while eating was as elegant as ever, as if she didn't mind at all that others plotted against her. That's right, plotting against her. As the original owner, I don't think I have any value for Song Jingnian to come and plot against. The only one worth plotting against is Miss Ningbing. Regarding my meeting with Song Jingnian, Ningbing's only instruction was to chat casually, but avoid sensitive topics, and then come back and tell her the information. I nodded, and noted the location where Song Jingnian was treating, a famous coffee shop in the city. When I received the notification, I checked online briefly. Even the cheapest drink cost over 200. When was I ever this extravagant? When the day of the appointment arrived, I dressed myself up well, although I was destined to be mocked afterward. But, at least on the surface, I couldn't be criticized for being slovenly. However, I never imagined that the first thing Song Jingnian would say upon seeing me would be a critique. Xiaoyu, I know you're hurting inside. You've always been strong-willed, but now that things have come to this, why bother putting on a brave face in front of me? I won't look down on you. If I didn't know Song Jingnian's character, I'm afraid I would have thought that Song Jingnian was doing this for my own good. For a person to say such things, while maintaining a worried expression, as if he were thinking of me, is quite an achievement. Young Master Song is joking. No matter how difficult life gets, one must never give up the desire to dress up. After all, I'm handsome. It would be a waste not to dress up. One is only young for a few days. Naturally, not a single day should be wasted. Moreover, with my natural gifts, if I don't let myself look handsome, it would be a waste of heaven's favoritism toward me. Since the other party handed over the knife first, I don't consider myself to have a temperament that lets people push me around. I stabbed the knife into his heart. Alright, our Xiaoyu is the most handsome. Let's go. I know you've been in a bad mood lately. Let's go have tea and chat. I can't do other things, but I can at least listen to your complaints. Once you let out all the upsetting things, your mood will naturally improve. He maintained his smile, patting my shoulder. Led by the waiter to the private room with the best view, I sighed in my heart. As expected of a place for the wealthy, it is indeed superior to those small tea houses. This sizable courtyard alone could outshine most places. The level of design is clearly masterclass. Song Jingnian saw me, staring at the courtyard, and thought I was reminiscing about my past wealthy life. He sneered inwardly, but remained gentle on the surface. Xiaoyu, what would you like to drink? I snapped back to reality. My eyes lit up instantly, and I started rattling off a list of names. Everything I found online. The famous specialties of this shop. Xiaoyu, you ordered so much. Will you be able to finish it all later? I know Song Jingnian is doubting why I've lost all my pride. acting as if I've never eaten before. But I have no intention of hiding it. If we can't finish, we'll pack it. It's not a big deal. Packing things you can't finish, still packing? Could it be that you're lacking this bit of food? Yes, it's such a waste not to pack leftovers. I'm not who I used to be. Of course, save whenever possible. And thriftiness is our traditional virtue. Young Master Song, you're so surprised. Do you have some opinion on this traditional virtue? Song Jingnian opened his mouth, finding that he couldn't refute it. He froze. Then he stammered, "You're right. You're doing well. Nothing is wrong." I think so too. The old me was too Liu Ruyan, with so many luxury goods, buying things I clearly couldn't even use. Not to mention wasting money, but also wasting time and energy. If I could use that time to do some meaningful things, how wonderful would that be? You know, in this world, there are clearly so many people who need help. Why couldn't I see them before? Using that money to help children in poor areas would also be good. Better than buying a pile of luxury goods to throw at home. By the way, young Master Song, you're so kind, so wonderful. You must have helped many people in need, right? Song Jingnian is good at fooling people and creating a persona. That's true. But as for helping the poor, that's a dream. He isn't that kind-hearted. He feels he doesn't have enough money for himself. How could he be so kind as to spend money on others? However, he still smiled sincerely. Yes, when I have free time, I occasionally help those in need. After all, my parents taught me since childhood to always share with others and help those in need. Song Jingnian thought. I wanted to talk to him about this topic. However, I shifted the topic. Since young Master Song is so generous to strangers, we've known each other for so long, and our relationship is so good. Now that I've encountered difficulties and have become a poor person, won't young Master Song help me? He never imagined that I, who have always cared most about face, would say such a thing. He was stunned. Young Master Song, you have no idea how bitter my life is right now. I don't even dare buy clothes or watches, every day looking at my partner's cold face, and not daring to mention money, calling other people, but no one is willing to answer. Seeing Song Jingnian's expression change slightly, I stood up and moved next to Song Jingnian, and grabbed his hand, holding it tightly, giving him no chance to break free. Young Master Song, only you're good, and still willing to come find me. You're the only one I can ask for help. You're usually so wealthy and powerful. A casual gesture is 200,000 or 300,000 to an old friend like me, no matter what. You can't be that stingy, right? You will help me, right? After all, we are good brothers. I held Song Jingnian's hand tightly, with an earnest tone. Seeing that he still hadn't reacted, I added another sentence. Speaking of which, I haven't looked for my old female friends yet, to have a chat. This last sentence hit Song Jingnian's sore spot. He was nearly dying of anxiety, but any woman he found attractive looked down on him. Yet on the surface, he seemed like a refined gentleman, but behind the scenes, many knew his ways. He couldn't even clear his name. Finally, his family came up with a plan, which was for him to not be too active, to fade people's impressions of him as much as possible. The reason he approached me this time was also to accomplish one thing, so that in front of the woman he likes, he could show off his capabilities. Xiaoyu, what nonsense are you talking? What is our relationship? How could I possibly watch you suffer without doing anything? Didn't I come to find you as soon as I returned to the country? You know me. I have always been kind-hearted. Even seeing strangers suffer makes me feel bad, let alone you. Don't worry, although I don't have much money on hand, I still have 100,000 or 80,000. I'll transfer it to you in a bit. Take it for your emergency needs first. Please don't be polite with me. Alright, Miss Bai, what did you guys do after the bankruptcy? How would I know about those things? You know me. My major before had nothing to do with business. Even if he told me everything, I still wouldn't understand. Anyway, as long as I have food to eat now, it's fine. He has always been a busy man. I'm not clear on what he's busy with. Anyway, even if I asked, I wouldn't understand, so I stopped asking. I originally wanted a divorce. Then I heard him say we aren't in debt. So, live like this. I heard Liu Ruyan looked for you later. Yes, but she's not a good person. No matter how incompetent I can't lose face in front of her, right? So I pretended to stay by Ningbing's side, to infuriate her. Before, she was no match for Ningbing, and now she's still no match, although I'm not a capable person. But based on the fact that Ningbing, even in her current state, hasn't done anything to me, I can tell she's a good person. I believe that a person with good character is certainly better than trusting a scumbag. But perhaps Miss Liu, after losing you, then realized the person she truly loves is you. You've never suffered in your life, continuing to live these hard days. When will it ever end? I feel that these days aren't that hard to get through. When I had money, there were troubles every day, and my mind was filled with miscellaneous thoughts. I could only rely on shopping to relieve it. Now it's much quieter. I can do whatever I want. I wasn't someone who couldn't handle hard times anyway. That's how I lived before college. So this is quite good. I'm not dissatisfied with anything. It's that I need to think about how to make money later. You plan to go out and work yourself? How can that be? What can you even do? Think about you working at a counter or a supermarket, and then bumping into him. Finding a job won't be easy. There are only jobs that don't require technical skills. Can you stand that? What's so hard about it? At the least, I'm a graduate of a prestigious university. Although I've never worked, but I can learn. I have the basic qualifications. For example, English. And for example, professional skills. I'm all good. Then Jingnian remember that I indeed relied on my own ability to get into a prestigious university. And then I meet Ningbing and Liu Ruyan, comparing the two. His own studies weren't good enough, so he relied on his family to send him abroad. His mood soured again. He refused to show weakness verbally. Although a degree is quite important, experience is equally important. If you only start learning now, you certainly won't be able to compete with fresh graduates. It won't be easy. I'll give it a try. If I could get into a top university, adapting to a simple job surely can't be harder than the college entrance exam. Oh, look at me. Why did I bring this up in front of you? It's fine, young Master Son. It's normal that you aren't aware. Don't mind it. Anyway, you don't need to work yourself. I envy you. At home, you can rely on your family. And later, you can rely on your wife. You don't have to do anything yourself. Eat and wait for death. So blissful. In other words, you can't do anything. A useless person who can only rely on others. Jingnian tried his best to control himself so that his expression didn't distort, thinking resentfully that she's so bad at speaking. No wonder her luck is so bad. But I felt extremely satisfied that two of us went back and forth, both knowing exactly what was happening, yet while maintaining a surface-level politeness, stabbing at each other from time to time. The difference was, the things Jingnian used to provoke me were all things that didn't bother me, but the things I used to provoke him were all his sore spots. When it was time to part, my heart was full of joy, while Jingnian was almost suffering internal injuries from holding it in. Before leaving, I didn't forget to remind Jingnian to give the money. Jingnian thought about inviting me out again next time, to show off his superiority and gather information, nodded to show he knew, then sluggishly transferred 100,000 yuan to me. I took the money and went back happily. When I returned, Ningbing was sitting on the sofa looking at the computer. Hearing the sound of the door opening, Ningbing's gaze shifted to me. I entered, changed my shoes and clothes, until I went to the bathroom to wash my hands. A smile remained on my face. I was clearly in a good mood. I'm back, ha ha ha. I went out today and earned 100,000 yuan for free. Aren't I amazing? I waved the phone that had never left my side. My tone couldn't hide the excitement. 100,000 for free? Did that guy named Song give it to you? Yeah. He started showing off his superiority right away, trying to trick me into revealing information, but I subtly pushed back. Then I intentionally played poor, flattered him to make him feel important. And while he was stuck in that position, I mentioned that if he didn't give me something as a token, I would tell other people we both know that he has no kindness. To maintain his image, he had no choice but to cough up the money. Ningbing thought the original owner used to spend money on bags all day, but the person before her was so happy over 100,000 yuan. She felt a strange sensation in her heart. It's a waste not to take his money. It's indeed not easy to get money out of Jingnian's hands. Come, open your Alipay. I'll transfer it to you. Since it's money gained for free, consider it as him paying you back for before. You take it and use it. Don't worry about the family running out of money. Ningbing found it quite novel, the way the other person was so generous with the money. Is there anything you want me to do? No. The house isn't lacking anything lately. Nothing is broken either. That's not what Ningbing meant, but looking at me, it was clear we weren't on the same page. She took out her phone and opened Alipay and held it up in front of me. I naturally took the money I received, which was still fresh, and transferred it to her account, as if giving her the money was only natural. Giving me money gained for free, I don't mind, because it was your money to begin with. Wasn't the money used to treat young Master Song your money? Now that we're broke, of course he should pay it back to you. Although I like money too, but now I prefer earning it myself. I can already earn manuscript fees now. With me here, I won't let you go hungry. You might not have delicacies. There will be plenty of porridge. Then thank you much. You're welcome. After all, you were quite good to me before. Right, I also brought some takeout back. It's all untouched. Do you want some? Although Ningbing grew up in privilege, she was definitely not someone who liked wastefulness, except when she had to show wealth for business. In the past, she had normal 3 meals a day at home. It's that the cook was skilled. She had also eaten takeout when she was a student. Sure, I didn't expect her to eat it. I thought Miss Bai wouldn't eat this kind of thing, so I stammered. I remembered. The things I packed are all sweets. Is that okay? What's the problem? I had to go to the door and bring the package over. Upon opening it, inside were indeed pastries and things like that. Ningbing naturally picked up a piece and put it in her mouth. After swallowing, she gave her review. This tastes better when it's hot. You've had this before? Ningbing glanced at me, slowly pulled out a tissue to wipe her hands. My grandfather used to love these. Oh, so old Master Bai loved them. So Miss Bai would occasionally buy them for her grandfather. Maybe old Master Bai had her taste them. I realized that doing this would only make Miss Bai emotional. I felt embarrassed and apologized. You don't need to feel sorry. The past has nothing to do with the present, so there's no need to apologize. What do you want to eat tonight? I'll cook for you. I still felt quite ashamed. Miss Bai had taken such good care of the original owner, and hadn't made things difficult for me after I was reborn, yet I had poked at her wound. While her business was failing, I even hurt her feelings. That was too much. Anything is fine. I have some things to do. I have to go out in. I'll be back tonight. A bit late is fine. Go ahead and do your work. I'll wait for you for dinner tonight. Ningbing glanced at me. She originally wanted to say, no need to wait tonight, but she saw my ashamed expression. The words were still not spoken. I waited until Ningbing left. I thought, and cleaned the house. Then I typed for a while. Then I went out to buy groceries. Around 8 o'clock, the sound of the door opening rang out. I looked up from my document. Ningbing had already entered. I quickly saved the document. You're back. The food should still be warm. Hungry? Ningbing took off her coat and hung it on the wall. The chill she carried from outside was instantly vanished by the warmth of the room. With a quick glance, she saw the food laid out on the dining table. I had covered it all. As Ningbing changed shoes and entered, by this time, you must be hungry. I'll wash my hands. I'm fine, not hungry. I might not be able to return often. I'll let you know if I'm not coming back. Eat when you should. No need to wait for me. Alright, I also think that someone like Ningbing wouldn't be like those with fixed jobs, coming home for dinner on time every day. If she doesn't come back, I can be a bit more relaxed. I can eat and lounge around. Feeling a bit guilty, I made a quite lavish dinner. To my surprise, I even steamed buns by hand. Different kinds of buns, small and exquisite. Flour rolls, sweet-centered buns, corn buns, sweet potato rolls, and so on. They looked cute. Probably only 2 or 3 bites to finish one. Ningbing picked up a flour roll. She finished it in 2 bites. After eating, she felt the taste was good. The buns are quite good, right? Right? I spent quite some time researching how to steam good buns, researching for 3 or 4 whole days. Later, I figured out the specific ratio and timing, and that's how the buns turned out like this. I like flour rolls and sweet-centered ones the most. My friends liked them too. While talking idly, I stopped. Oh no, in my excitement, I almost let it slip. This skill is indeed impressive. You're talking about university friends, right? Yes, university friends. We haven't been in touch much since. I haven't steamed buns for a long time either. I didn't expect my skill hadn't regressed. Luckily, she didn't think in other directions. Otherwise, it would have caused suspicion in a heartbeat. I secretly rejoiced, not noticing the person opposite me, with a look of great interest on her face. By the way, I simmered today's chicken soup for a long time. Drink more of it, okay? My chicken soup has always been delicious. Ningbing liked this soup much. Soup from outside always lacks a certain flavor, but my soup has all the flavors. She knew it herself, that it wasn't a matter of taste, but rather a kind of feeling of someone being willing to put effort into simmering soup for you. When she was young, Bai's mother also liked to simmer chicken soup for her. It's that the taste wasn't great. It was because she always claimed that drinking chicken soup was good for a child's health. So Ningbing was always forced by her father at the time to finish all the chicken soup. After the accidental death of her parents, Ningbing had tried all kinds of chicken soup. The family chefs and even the nannies had all researched chicken soup. Unfortunately, no one could recreate that taste. As Ningbing grew a bit older, she no longer showed any particular interest in chicken soup. This point was then forgotten by others. Ningbing felt that her current tolerance for the man before her probably had a certain reason, which was the kind of feeling he occasionally displayed, similar to the feeling of her mother. "Why are you looking at me? Is there something on my face?" I noticed Ningbing was staring at me. Doesn't she know that when she stares at someone, it puts a lot of pressure on them? Or does she feel something is wrong again? "It seems you have dark circles under your eyes." "What?" I stood up and looked in the mirror. I looked in the mirror for a long while. "I feel like I can faintly see some traces. So this is the sign of getting dark circles." I couldn't help but shudder. Ningbing had mentioned it casually, but she didn't expect me to react so strongly. After waiting for a while and seeing no one come out, she asked curiously, "What's wrong? Not eating anymore?" As she finished speaking, she saw me come out sheepishly. "Maybe it's because I've been staying up late writing novels recently. A few dark circles don't affect much. You're still handsome." Hearing Ningbing praise me so, a blush crept onto my cheeks. Shyly, after eating, I stood up to clear the dishes, but was stopped by Ningbing. "Let me do it today." "No need, no need. I can do it." Saying this, I took the dishes from Ningbing's hand and walked quickly toward the kitchen. Ningbing smiled silently, shook her head and stopped competing with me. While passing through the living room, I saw the computer on the coffee table with the documents still open. On a whim, she came over, intending to see what I had written. After I finished cleaning everything and came out, I saw a scene that shocked me. Ningbing was sitting elegantly on the sofa, hand propping up her face, reading the novel I wrote seriously. Although I almost rushed in front of Ningbing, fearing she would dislike me. "This is weird. Why let her read this novel? It's not high quality." "Fine, then don't read it." While I was secretly hesitating whether my attitude was too intense, she walked to the bedroom door and stopped, and blurted out, "I think the female lead leaving the company to accompany the male lead at every turn is a bit exaggerated. If the female lead is the company's CEO, then she wouldn't have that much time." After speaking, she entered her bedroom and closed the door as well, leaving me sitting where she had been. Stunned, she read at least 2 chapters, and the 2 most melodramatic chapters at that. My novel was criticized, but I wasn't angry at all. I wanted to clarify with Ningbing that what I wrote was originally a novel where romance outweighs reality. If it were written as a realistic CEO story, it would be full of plot holes and wouldn't have so many readers. Unfortunately, she doesn't understand web literature, so I couldn't even discuss it with her. A few days later, early in the morning, before Ningbing had left after breakfast, there was a sudden knock at the door. I had finished washing the dishes, so I went to open the door. "Who is it?" Strange, who would come this early in the morning? The person outside didn't speak, but continued knocking. I looked through the peephole and saw 2 young women standing outside. Both were stylish and elegant. Either of them could be on TV or in a movie. Like celebrities, they clearly weren't ordinary people. My heart skipped a beat, and I turned to knock on Ningbing's bedroom door. "Someone is knocking at the door. It seems they are looking for you." Ningbing let go of the mouse, stood up and went out, noticing the worry on my face. "There are 2 women outside who clearly aren't ordinary. Go see if they are looking for you. I don't think I've ever seen them." What I didn't say was that I was afraid they were here to cause trouble for Ningbing. My mind was still brainstorming what to do if they were here for trouble. When Song Chingwan stopped knocking outside, she said to Wu Wanning beside her, "Are you sure you didn't remember wrong? Is this second sister's current residence? Why is no one opening the door? Could she have gone out? Didn't you say second sister hasn't divorced that guy named Gu yet? She's not here either?" "You're asking me, who should I ask? I told you there was no need to come, but you wouldn't listen. Second sister has been busy lately. You're not missing an arm or a leg, so second sister won't be in a hurry to see you. But I still have to see her. I haven't seen second sister in a year, and second sister has been so unlucky lately. If I don't see her with, how can I be at ease?" She pouted and continued knocking stubbornly, but this time, it turned into banging on the door. The door opened. "Why are you 2 here? Come in, second sister. I've missed you so much. Your little sister is back." Song Chingwan exclaimed in surprise, and rushed straight to Ningbing, giving her a big hug, then let go. "I'm back. That's good." As expected, in Xiao Wu's heart, only second sister is family. "We're all extras. Hurry up and come in." I stood behind them, staring in amazement. Second sister, could these 2 be 2 of she's best friends? Song Chingwan walked in happily, and as she turned her head, she bumped into a bewildered face. She was stunned too. A finger pointed at me. "Why is there still a man here?" Oh, wait, you're Gu Xiaoyu. Why are you here? Why can't I be here? Second sister, it's one thing that you didn't divorce him, but you're living with him? If we don't live together, should we sleep on the street? Why do you talk so much all day long? Brother Xiaoyu and second sister aren't divorced. What's strange about living together? Let's go inside and sit first. Song Qingwan opened her mouth, but she couldn't force a smile for me, so she pretended not to see me. She walked around to the sofa and sat down. Wu Wanning nodded to me and sat down as well. Guests had arrived. I went to the dining area to pour some tea. When I came back, I saw 3 women sitting on the sofa. Except for Ningbing, the other 2 were both looking at her. This silent awkwardness made me wish I could leave. I have something to do this morning, so I'll leave first. You guys chat. I won't be eating at home for lunch. After saying that, I hurried to the bedroom to put on a jacket. I packed some things and quickly left the house. Ever since Ningbing said that sentence, Song Qingwan saw her with a shocked and incredulous gaze. As I went out and closed the door, she said with an indescribable expression, "Eating at home? Second sister, are you saying this place is home?" It was better when she didn't say it. Once she spoke, Ningbing paused. Then she quickly regained her composure. "I've been eating here lately. The food he makes tastes good." "No, second sister. Do you plan to spend your life with this man? Aside from his looks, he has nothing noteworthy to offer. But is it as if we lack handsome men around us? I don't believe you'd take a liking to him for his looks. If I had, I would have long ago. But it couldn't be that bad. To be honest, among handsome men of the same type over the years, I've never seen anyone better than him. Secondly, people change over time. One should look at them with new eyes. You didn't know him before you went abroad, and you haven't had contact since returning. Where does the confidence to judge come from? Finally, do you think second sister is a fool? To tolerate brother Xiaoyu like this, there must be a reason. Don't forget that in the eyes of outsiders, our second sister is now penniless. Under these circumstances, this brother Xiaoyu still stays and doesn't leave. Isn't that strange? When helping Ningbing research information before, Wu Wanning had also looked carefully. The conclusion she reached was strange. She guessed that Ningbing wanted to keep him close to observe him slowly. After all, an open spear is easy to dodge, but a hidden arrow is hard to guard against. However, before Song Qingwan could even nod to show she understood Ningbing, she dropped words that shocked them. "It's not as complicated as you think. He has changed. He's quite good now. The reason he lives here is because he has nowhere else to go. Now that he has nothing to do, he earns his own money and cooks. He's returned to a college-like lifestyle, not like his previous life. Then why doesn't he divorce you? Divorce and his rebirth, these two have nothing to do with each other, right? Why must he be by your side? There are other reasons for this. You don't need to know. Be a bit more polite to him now. He's not as bad as you think." Song Qingwan wanted to ask more, but was interrupted by Wu Wanning. "Second sister has her own plans. Of course we don't need to worry, since brother Xiaoyu is not like what we thought. We'll be more polite to him later." "Xiao Wu, it's not that fourth sister is criticizing you. I know you're close to second sister, but can you stop getting so excited whenever it's about second sister? Stop copying Xiao Lu all day long, or you'll end up losing your mind. How am I like that little idiot Xiao Lu? Can she be compared to me? I feel it's almost the same. Before, when Xiao Lu wasn't allowed to look for second sister at the banquet, she still couldn't resist running over. She almost caused trouble for second sister. Both of you're the same." "I'm not. I got back, and I don't understand the situation, okay? And you didn't explain it clearly to me. You only tell me half the story. If I weren't so patient, I'd. It's all because I have good patience." Song Qingwan glared at Wu Wanning. The other person responded with a light chuckle. "Let's not talk about that now that fifth is back. Do you plan to join Song Corp? I don't want to go, but my old man insists that I go. You all know, I have absolutely no interest in the automotive industry. It's truly annoying. You might not be interested, but who told you to be so talented? Back in high school, you helped your old man discover problems in the newly developed cars. Do you still expect your dad to let you off? He probably wakes up smiling, thinking that he fathered a daughter born to serve the family business. He'd laugh in his sleep. Please let me go. If I knew my old man was so cunning, I would never have fallen for his trap. My brief leisure time is about to slip away. My poor food industry is about to be snatched away by my old man. It's infuriating when you think about it. That old guy never showed his foodie side. To think he could hide it for so many years, it's terrifying. Having elders push you forward is a kind of blessing. Uncle Song has put in a lot of effort for you. You should cherish it. In my life, I wish I had second sisters. Refined sense for classical culture. To me, all tea tastes the same. I drink it for the satisfaction. Isn't that right? Ha ha ha, you're right. For the satisfaction. That's great. Ha, being mocked didn't bother Song Qingwan at all, not having a cultured sense. Isn't a big deal. I was never as good as second sister anyway. By the way, second sister, what exactly do you plan to do? I don't believe that Ji Fuxing can be that capable. How could anyone in this world be so prescient, always staying one step ahead in everything? Second sister, are you sure there's no mole? Ningbing's expression, which had a hint of a smile, instantly faded. She pondered. Not sure where the problem lies. Even when I didn't tell anyone about the plan was still leaked. If it were a mole, it wouldn't explain this. As she spoke of these things, Song Qingwan and Wu Wanning listened intently. Should I check the things around you again? Maybe there's some advanced surveillance technology that I didn't notice before. It shouldn't be. I later tried moving to a different place without taking anything. I even changed my clothes. The situation still didn't improve. Could he have some kind of special power? Could it be that eldest sister and the others have no way either? No, we once teamed up to ambush him, but whether it was a trap or a direct confrontation, he dodged them all. I don't know how he got connected with the Wen family. Later, Elder Wen personally stepped in to mediate. It was a veiled warning to us. Elder Wen? How is that possible? Hasn't he long stopped caring about the trivial matters between juniors? This guy named Ji is truly disgusting. If we're fighting, we fight, but he calls for outside help. Do you think this is a primary school fight? You hit me once, so I hit you back? Damn it, why would Elder Wen help him? I've never heard. That Elder One is such a compassionate person. I heard it was his wife, by a stroke of luck, who saved Elder One, and she happened to be exactly Elder Wen's type. But why must he target second sister? Clearly, second sister has so many industries. Even if he aggressively develops his construction industry, it doesn't clash with second sister's other businesses. Ningbing saw her two sisters' upset expressions, and smiled. All right. Isn't it better now? Don't worry about it anymore. Now that I'm penniless, I can see exactly what he wants to do. Penniless, without a cent, is the only way to know whether the other party is intentionally targeting her or wants to annex the industries for his own development. Then, second sister, do you plan to only develop your tech industry now? This industry requires huge investment. Who knows when we'll see the results? The tech industry is the best industry for the future. I've wanted to restructure and upgrade the industry for a long time. Before, I had to consider the bloodsuckers from the Bai family. Now that the burden is gone, it's much easier. This is quite good. Even if it indirectly lets you shake off a burden, it's still true that you suffered losses. When I take over the family business later, I'll help you target him. I don't believe that he can anticipate all the plans. Why are you making a mess? If you take over the business, learning it will take some time. By then, second sister would have already bounced back. Focus on your own business. Second sister is more calculating than you, and if all else fails, there's still us. After being busy for so many years, it's finally time to rest a bit. Why the rush? Second sister, why aren't you worried at all? When has second sister ever been worried? Now that you mention it, it seems I've never seen second sister panic. Alright, second sister, call me if you need anything. I'll be there the moment you call. The three of them chatted for a while longer, and left together. I'll be back in the afternoon. There was no one left in the house. I breathed a sigh of relief. The aura of Miss Bai's best friends is stronger than the next, and they clearly showed their dislike for me. It tests one's endurance. I said I had things to do outside, but there was nothing at all. I was looking for an excuse to get out, but there was nowhere to go. I might write at an internet cafe. The beauty playing games next to me kept glancing at me. She lost the game time and time again. Later, when she couldn't resist trying to strike up a conversation, I changed machines. As a result, after switching computers, the girl next to me leaned in again and tried to talk to me, asking why I came here to write. It felt like she wanted to get some positive energy from me, which left me feeling quite helpless. Returning home, I could finally be at peace. I changed my clothes, gave a big stretch, and hopped onto the sofa. After thinking about it, I felt like taking a shower. I took out my phone to check the message from Ningbing. She indeed said she wouldn't be back until late. I decisively headed to the bathroom, and came out after a comfortable hot shower. First, I dried my hair, then I blew it dry and made some lemon tea. I took out the snacks I had bought previously, and cozied up on the sofa happily. I hesitated, and decided not to write for now. I opened my laptop, and found a movie I had planned to watch, and started watching it happily. While watching, I'd grab some snacks and pop them them in my mouth, and take a sip of lemon tea. The most wonderful thing in the world is having no burdens on one's shoulders. Showered, dried my hair, then eating snacks while watching a show. Ever since I came to this world, this is the first time I've felt this great. As the movie gradually reached its climax, I stared at the screen intently, forgetting where I was, as the door in the movie was opened. An incongruous sound of a door opening rang out. The post-production staff should have their lunchboxes confiscated. This door sound is truly not harmonious at all. Didn't you eat lunch? Ningbing's voice came from the doorway. I was so startled that the chips in my shaking hand fell onto my curled legs. I looked up and saw Ningbing's frowning face. Ningbing stood tall and elegant, her head slightly tilted, looking at me with a frown, or rather, not looking at me, but at my now empty hand. In Ningbing's eyes, the man a few steps away stared at her blankly with wide eyes, as if struck by surprise, like a frozen little animal. A bit like a koala. Weren't you coming back late tonight? I finally managed to recover my composure and voice, unable to hide my awkward expression, my words carrying a hint of accusation. Ningbing put on slippers and entered the room, her gaze shifting elsewhere. I came back once the matters were settled. Xiao Wu insisted on visiting his company, but Mr. Song summoned him, so Xiao Wu had to go back first to see what it was. As for visiting the company, forget it. The company isn't going anywhere. It can be visited sooner or later. No need to rush it in a day or two. Didn't you eat lunch? I gently pinched a corner of the chip bag and carefully pulled it outward. With a smile on my face, I ate. I was bored, so I watched a movie and had some snacks while I was at it. As I spoke, I pulled the chip bag under the table and threw it into the trash can. In the original owner's memory, Miss Bai had never touched snacks. This gave me a feeling that eating snacks in front of her was something unrefined. These are all junk food. Eat less. Yes. I only eat it occasionally. By the way, are you eating at home tonight? Hearing the familiar word home, Ningbing's gaze shifted. I've already decided what takeout to order tonight. Now I have to do it myself. I can't watch the movie anymore. The bath was basically for nothing. I was happy for nothing. The great joys and sorrows of the world always come so. What's wrong with you? Didn't you hear me? I asked myself, as I had every time before. What would be good to eat? Ningbing turned her head to look at me. She found that my expression looked a bit pitiful. Nothing. It's nothing. What do you want to eat tonight? Anything is fine. Make whatever you like. Then I'll make meatball soup. It so happens there's plenty of soy pulp left from this morning's soy milk. I was planning to fry the meatballs tonight and have the soup tomorrow morning. Since you're back, I'll make it ahead of time. Okay, I'll get to work first. Go on. I'll call you when it's ready. After Ningbing went back into the room, I shifted my gaze to the computer screen. Seeing a glimpse of myself on the screen, I realized I was so focused on the snacks that I forgot to comb my hair. I finally knew why Miss Bai's gaze was so strange now. I scrambled up from the sofa and rushed straight to the bathroom. I grabbed the comb and started combing vigorously. I kept beating my chest in regret. Why did I let myself go? Don't I know what Murphy's Law is? Now look at this. That appearance in front of Miss Bai. It was truly embarrassing. Then thinking back to Miss Bai's noble and elegant appearance, now I almost wanted to bang my head against the glass. I'm not someone who cares too much about looks, but for some reason, Ningbing easily makes people feel that if you don't groom yourself properly while standing beside her, you'll instantly be made to look like trash. I strongly suspect that this is one of the reasons why Ningbing is so hated. She usually associates with wealthy and powerful people. The young second-generation rich grew up in circles of wealth. They usually have a sense of superiority over ordinary people. Yet there's one person whose aura instantly crushes everyone else the moment she steps out. Who wouldn't be upset by that? The original owner of this body didn't think about winning over Ningbing because they lacked the guts and courage. Now I'm going to cook for this walking scenery, and I have to do it well. Then I must continue to maintain absolute courage, ignore her charm, and dine face to face with her. Frying meatballs always leaves you smelling of grease and smoke. With a serious expression, I tended to the oil pan, my movements being nimble. I kept squeezing out the meatballs one by one and dropping them into the oil. The room was filled with a wonderful aroma. An hour after entering the house, Ningbing came out of her room. As soon as she opened the door, she smelled the aroma of fried food and could faintly hear some sounds. She followed the sound to the kitchen and saw me with a serious expression. My movements were skillful, and I was humming an unknown little tune, looking content in my own world. Golden meatballs were scooped out one by one. One little cutie is out of the pot, and there's a group of little cuties queuing up to go in. you're all cute little meatballs. You'll definitely taste great. In a moment, I'll carefully turn you into a delicious meatball soup. I won't let your hard work go to waste. Cooking can be this interesting? It was the only thing Ningbing had seen. Out of curiosity, she crossed her arms over her chest, leaning against the door. Watching to see what else I could do. I certainly didn't disappoint her. There weren't many meatballs left, so I scooped them out and turned to cut the washed vegetables. I was talking to myself. You guys are little cuties too. You look so beautiful. It must have been hard for you. I will treat you well too. I promise to let you float on the soup. I won't let you live in vain. Happy talking to myself. My mind was filled with novel plots. While I was brainstorming, I turned my head and saw a living person at the door. I was so startled that I took 2 steps back. My foot slipped, and I fell backward. Ningbing was also startled by me, reached out to support me. Before she could reach me, I had already pressed against the sink behind me, and steadied myself. Ningbing's hand gripped my waist. An inexplicable warmth made me feel as if I had been burned. I shuddered instinctively. Why did you appear here? You almost made me fall. Is something wrong? No. I came to pour a glass of water. I heard some noise over here, so I came to check. I was humming a song. Otherwise, cooking alone is a bit boring. The meatballs are fried. Yes, oh right. Do you want to try one? Ningbing hesitated for less than a second. Look at me. How could I forget? Although these meatballs smell delicious, they are not good for the body. If you're not hungry, you should wait a bit longer. Not good for the body? Even if Ningbing didn't know much about this, she knew that this kind of thing was a bit too oily, not to the extent of being bad for the body. She took a step forward. How did you eat them? I was stunned, realizing Ningbing intended to try one. I subconsciously handed her the chopsticks in my hand. Ningbing took the chopsticks and glanced at them, finding that these chopsticks had already been used. Ningbing's movement paused. What's wrong? Nothing. She handed the chopsticks back to me. Under my bewildered gaze, she directly reached out, picked up a meatball, and put it in her mouth. I watched in astonishment. The young mistress eats meatballs with her hands. The fresh meatball was steaming as she bit into it. The rich aroma of beans and oil spread through her mouth. Ningbing couldn't help but gasp from the heat, but it was indeed delicious. The distance between us was already close. Ningbing was right in front of me. After finishing the meatball, Ningbing stepped back a bit. Out of the corner of her eye, she saw me staring blankly at her. She asked, "What's wrong?" The face in front of me turned. I was startled once again. Fortunately, I didn't slip while stepping back this time, and there was a wall behind me. My back hit the wall. Nothing. Are the meatballs tasty? Not bad. If you're not busy, please go out. There's too much oil smoke in the kitchen. The meatballs are fried. The meatball soup is easier to make. It should be ready soon. Go on. I'll call you when it's ready. Finally, I struggled to finish the meatball soup. The initial joy had vanished. Ningbing clearly felt that my mood was a bit depressed. I scooped her a bowl with plenty of ingredients, while I had the watery kind. Didn't you fry a lot of meatballs? Why didn't you make more? Aren't you full yet? I looked up at her bowl. The bowl was full. Based on her usual appetite, it should be enough. Could it be that she's hungry today? She extended a slender finger and pointed to my bowl. Look at your bowl. I smelled too much oil smoke. I don't want to eat. I won't admit it. It's because I weighed myself before calling her to eat. I was 2 pounds heavier than a few days ago. Ning didn't say anything more, but seeing me while I was eating, staring blankly at her bowl from time to time, my eyes were full of the desire to eat. Then thinking about my habit before meals, of loving to weigh myself, she realized what was going on. You ate too many snacks today. This sentence wasn't a question, but an assertion. I felt as if a knife had been plunged into my chest. No, Ning didn't speak. She glanced at me. All right, I did eat snacks, but I only had a bowl of jelly, a box of cookies, a small bag of popcorn and half a bag of potato chips. It's putting it that way, it seems like a bit much, but all those snacks combined wouldn't weigh 2 pounds. Snacks are full of additives. You should eat less of them. If you want to eat, let's go out. I'll figure out the money part. I never expected Ningbing to say such a thing. The slight spark of anger in my heart was instantly extinguished. Opposite me was still a calm face, but the concern now was sincere. The young mistress is a good person. She was being kind and advising me with good intentions. I understand. I'll try my best not to eat snacks now. Ningbing didn't say anything more. I also ate my meal obediently. After eating and washing the dishes, I continued with my daily activity of writing. Who Who knew that this time Ningbing wouldn't ignore me, but instead came out of the bedroom and sat beside me. I've already spoken to those sisters today. Now, they won't treat you with that kind of attitude again. The misunderstandings they had about you in the past have now been cleared up. If they come over again later, you don't need to go out of your way to hide. You mean your best friends? Ningbing nodded. It's fine. Whether they misunderstand me or not doesn't matter. Anyway, they are your friends, not mine. I don't mind. Besides, it's normal that they find me unpleasant. I'm truly not the kind of person they would look up to. It's best if we stay out of each other's way now. When they come to see you, I won't be around, which will make it easier for you to talk. Plus, I have things to do today. Okay. Do you want to continue writing your novel? Yes. I've finished watching your movie. I'm still a bit short. I'll watch more when I have time. If you don't want me to know, you can buy a pair of headphones. I silently retracted my hand that was about to reach for the cup and gave a stiff smile. Why would I mind you knowing? You're knowledgeable, well-educated, and quite impressive, aren't you? She didn't answer me, but instead picked up the cup for me and handed it to me. If you want to write a good novel, watching movies is useless. You need to analyze them. I don't mind being interrupted, so you can watch whatever you like. Okay, I got it. Ningbing stood up and returned to the bedroom. After taking a sip of water, I put the cup back, still didn't open the movie, and continued reading Riding a Horse. Where did the money come from? For the next few days, Ningbing remained busy, leaving early and returning late every day. The daily routine of the two of us became having meals together in the morning and evening, and then each doing our own thing during the day. One day, Ningbing returned in the afternoon. I was writing at the time, and didn't even look up when I heard the door open. Out of habit, I said, "You're back." A familiar child's voice came through, with surprise and disdain in the words that weren't hidden at all. Why is he here? Haven't you divorced yet? The speaker was the child of Ningbing's cousin. Ningbing's cousin and cousin-in-law passed away in an accident. Because they were the people closest to Ningbing during their lives, the child was adopted by Ningbing after their death. The little boy's name is Bai Chi. He is 8 years old this year, and looks down on the original owner in every way. It's not that the little boy had a grudge against the original owner, but it's that the original owner never had much affection for children. Ever since the little boy entered his life, he had never given him a smile. That was one thing, but once before, when the little boy was home for vacation and starving, the chef happened to be sick and absent. He clamored for something to eat, but the original owner was busy meeting fake friends, and without paying attention, he ordered food that was inedible, extremely spicy food, which caused the little boy to be sick for many days after eating. Because of this, the two of them found each other even more unpleasant from then on, until I transmigrated here. I quite like children, but little Bai Chi might not like me. That sentence now, the attitude was already clear. We haven't divorced, so it's normal for him to be here. Not only that, but now, you will also live with him, controlling your food supply. What, Auntie? You're not joking, are you? Before, when he expressed his dislike for me in front of Ningbing, Ningbing never once objected. As long as it wasn't too excessive, she wouldn't interfere. Why is it different this time? Auntie, could what they said be true? Did you go bankrupt and run out of money, so you have to endure this man? I didn't speak, curious to see what Ningbing would say. Ningbing calmly flicked her finger. Little Bai Chi's forehead. Children should also be careful with their words. Don't think children can say whatever they want. Indeed, bankrupt, no money, so you have no choice. Bai K opened his mouth wide, widened his eyes, stunned for 3 seconds, then shook his head vigorously. Impossible, my father once said. Auntie, you're the most capable person. How could the most capable person go bankrupt? And your business is super incredibly huge. How could it all be gone in an instant? Heavens, I haven't grown up yet. How am I going to earn money to support the family? I'm still a baby. Am I already going to shoulder the burden of supporting the family? But what can I do? I'm only in 3rd grade of primary school. How about you send me to be a child model, Auntie? Anyway, I've learned how to catwalk, and I'm handsome. Someone should be willing to hire me. Impossible, because you have no background at all. Do you think all those children who are clearly ugly? How did they become models? They don't pick based on looks. They also pick based on family background. Believe it or not, you have no family background now. Auntie, you're lying. You must know many people. You helped so many people before. Ask them to help you. Then you must remember these words. Adding flowers to a brocade is easy. Sending charcoal in the snow is hard. When helping others, don't expect them to help you later. It's already good enough if they don't kick you while you're down. Ningbing followed into the bathroom. The voice came from the bathroom. Then what do we do? Are we going to live here now? Can we no longer eat delicious food? Can we no longer wear beautiful clothes? The children at school told me. I'm afraid I'll have to transfer schools soon. Is it true? Correct. Now, during holidays, you'll live here with me. The things we ate and the clothes we wore will probably be gone. As for transferring schools, do you want to transfer? Yes. My classmates are all ridiculing me. Did you think I didn't know? I heard everything. But you won't transfer. The tuition paid for you covers one more semester. Ningbing brought Bai Chao out, came to the living room sofa and sat down. I was pretending to type now. I can't turn a blind eye now. Silently took out some oranges, placed them on the table in front of Bai Kai and Ningbing. There are no other fruits at home. Make do with these for now. But they all say I'm annoying. When you have no strength of your own, being talked about or even ridiculed is a normal thing. But even if you're successful in your career later and hold a high position, you will still be talked about or even ridiculed. The situation will be even more severe than now. If you're strong enough, they will avoid you and not say it to your face. You haven't addressed them yet. As she spoke, she peeled an orange for Bai Chi. When ZCU reached out for the orange, slightly tilted her head toward me. Ziru turned her head to look. Hearing Ningbing's words, I, who turned my head to look at her again, opened my mouth and paused, hesitated, still asked Ningbing, then what exactly should I call him? How about you call me Xiaoyu? Okay, Xiaoyu. Are you on holiday? What do you want to eat? I'll make it for you. You can cook too? Then why didn't you cook before? He saw me cutely, but the question he asked was quite sharp. There was a chef at home before. You make it sound like it's true, as if it's some big deal. Eating rice is no problem. Fry a few dishes to go with the rice. But there are still some differences. While cooking, I put in more effort than usual. The rice and the dishes made them as child-friendly as possible. Personally, I quite like children. The baby at my brother's house before, I would tease him from time to time. Saw by E. I like little cute boys. He's too cute. If the relationship between the two wasn't so bad, I reckon I would have run over to hug him long ago. Bai Chi was taken into the room by Ningbing. After a while, I finished cooking and went to call them. Bai Chi had already changed into pajamas and come out. He obediently washed his hands by himself and sat in the chair I prepared for him. Seeing the food on the table, he seemed surprised. Did you make all of this? He pointed at the food on the table. The dishes were all shaped like playful cartoon expressions, even on the rice. A smiley face was made with something. Of course, this was only for his meal. Mine and Ningbing's meals were normal. He had his own special portion, enjoying VIP treatment on the first day of break. I'll buy you a set of small tableware later. The large ones are inconvenient to use. You don't need to specially prepare meals like this for me. I'm not a little kid anymore. I don't need to be scolded like this. I eat normal meals at school too. I'm already in 3rd grade. Even if you went to college, you'd still be a little kid in our eyes. Besides, what to make is my decision. You only have the right to choose whether to eat it or not. If you don't eat it, next time I'll make the thing you hate the most. Anyway, there's no money at home now. If you don't eat, don't expect any pocket money to buy food. You'll have to go hungry. You person. What should one say to someone's kindness? Bai Chi pursed his lips and said to me obediently, Thank you, Xiaoyu. I couldn't resist patting his head. You're welcome. Children clearly love it. Yet they insist on pretending they don't. Truly a tsundere. But that tsundere side is also cute. No need to make separate meals for him later. The children of the Bai family aren't that picky with food. Bai Chi nodded repeatedly, indicating that he was indeed such a child, while protecting his head. It's the child's business not to be picky, and it's the adult's business to want to pamper them. Could it be that Xiaoxi can't resist this level of pampering, and this would make her spoiled? Of course not. How could I be spoiled by a bit of food? Then I'll have to trouble little Fu to accept my sugar-coated bombs. I have no resistance when I see cute children. Now that there's a child at home, I can try making kids' meals. Thanks for the help. You're welcome. Ningbing took in the interaction between the two, and didn't say anything more about not making kids' meals. The three of them began to eat. While eating, Bai Chi ate much faster than in my memory. It was obvious he liked today's meal. After the meal, I went to wash the dishes as usual. Bai Chi was even more surprised. You do housework? It seems we are out of money. It can't be helped. In this life, great joy and great sorrow always come. That's why you need to study hard. Otherwise you'll end up unable to afford food too. I'm the top of my grade. My school is one of the best in the country. I participated in a competition this semester. The teacher said I could take first place. By the way, first place in the competition gets a lot of money. I think it's 50,000. Then we'll have money for food. Children from wealthy families are so lucky, attending a noble school. Even the prize money for elementary school competitions is this high. I can participate in more competitions. Before, my aunt didn't let me because she feared it would hinder my studies. Now I should be able to participate. If I enter 4 competitions, maybe I'll get 200,000. Then we'll have money for food. Wait. I don't have that much time to maintain my grades. It seems I can only enter 3. Then it's only 150,000. Not even enough for food. 150,000 is not even enough for food? Do you know how many people don't even make 10,000 a month? 150,000 is already quite a lot. 150,000 is only enough to buy you 2 watches. Is that a lot? How much did a pair of shark fins cost when you used to eat them? What do others earning under 10,000 have to do with us? Do we have to be like them? I didn't expect being poor to be so terrifying. To turn a spendthrift into this. Thinking that 150,000 is quite a lot. How long has it been since Aunt had no money? This is adapting to the situation. When you have money, you can spend it however you want. When you don't, of course you must be frugal. Even if you earn 150,000, you can't spend it all on food. The standard of living has dropped, so the quality of the food must drop too. But even if you eat my home-cooked meals every day, you won't be malnourished. Don't worry. These words are truly depressing. Ningbing held a glass of water, walking over with long legs. Bai Chi, time to do your homework. Oh, I'm going now. After saying that, turned away from Ningbing and shushed me, then went into Ningbing's room. Where will he sleep tonight? With you? I'll check later. Changed to another room. He was originally arranged to join activities during the break. Didn't expect the child to be unwilling, so he had to come back. I pondered about the house I mentioned buying before. What do you think about it now? I've sold some more watches and clothes lately. The down payment will definitely be fine. Let me see. Since Xiao Su is coming back to stay for the break, then let's buy a 3-bedroom one. I have manuscript fees now. I can pay back the loan. No need to worry about money. I was afraid she would worry the money wasn't enough and pick a first-class house. The two of them had nothing more to say. Each went back to their own business. Having a child in the house felt full of vitality, especially since Bai Chu is not a shy child. Ningbing had to be busy today, so only Bai Chu and I were home. At first, we could both do our own things. Later, it became boring. Bai Chu would occasionally run out and talk to me while moving around. After all, although the child is sensible, he still couldn't restrain his nature. Upon discovering that I seemed like a different person, and that I was treating him well, Bai Chu was no longer as cold to me as at first. Why don't you divorce my aunt? Aunt has no money left, although I also find it quite strange. But no money is no money. If you keep following her, she won't be like before, giving you so much money to spend. You also said she used to give me a lot of money. Then shouldn't I stay with her through the hard times? If I leave her at a time like this, wouldn't I become a bad man? Do you want me to leave your aunt and let her raise you alone? Then you'd have to be alone, without even anyone to cook for you. That's not the point. I won't starve to death. Although I don't know what's going on with you, but looking at it now, you're not that terrible of a person. I used to dislike you. Felt like you knew nothing except shopping. My aunt married you to have an automatic card swiper, but my aunt had a lot of money back then. She didn't mind a bit of it. It's a pity she could have married a better husband. Well, luckily it seems you're not that bad now. When my parents were alive, they told me not to judge people by their appearance, but by their character and heart. Although your talent isn't great, but you don't avoid things when they happen. Your character is passable. I couldn't help but rub his head. You little brat, you certainly think about a lot of things. These aren't things you should worry about. All you need to do is study happily every day. Have fun. You don't need to worry about my studies. I told you, I'm always first. Don't compare someone like me to the children you've seen before. I'm a high IQ club member. I took back the orange I was about to give him, broke off a slice and put it in my mouth, watching him chew it. Then, did I ever tell you that I also graduated from a prestigious school? Your prestigious school is nice. A prestigious school. Graduated from a key university. The reason I married your aunt, and even became that person who only knew how to shop. There was a reason for it. I've figured it out now, and returned to normal. Understand? I handed the orange to Bai Chu again. When Bai Chu went to take it, I took it back, leaving Bai Chu empty-handed. Are you giving it to me or not? I pursed my lips and smiled. This time I finally gave it to him. Then eat it. How about wontons for lunch? Anyway, I'm a bit hungry. Make more. Sure, I'll make sure to feed you full, little young master. I saved the document. Got up to go cook. Bai Chu watched me go to the kitchen, with a look in his eyes that even he didn't realize. Something called longing. Since his parents passed away, he had never had this kind of life full of domestic warmth again. In the past, In Ningbing's villa, although food and drink are not a worry, Ningbing is also good to him, but it didn't feel like living. Her heart had never truly been at peace. Now I care for her every day. My attitude is natural. When she chats with me, it's like chatting with her own family. It doesn't matter what she says. She feels once again that she has a home. She seems to know why her aunt is toward this man, no longer as cold as before. Ningbing can also feel Baichu is becoming more and more relaxed with me. When asked at night how it is at home, Baichu usually says he's quite happy. One day during dinner, I suggested that I'm free these couple of days. Xiao Chu has been at home for so long without going out. How about I take him to the amusement park tomorrow? Ningbing's hand paused while picking up food. Clearly saw that Baichu, hearing me, became nervous upon hearing my words. Thinking about it, found that Baichu has been back for 5 days and hasn't gone out once. Okay, I'll adjust my work tomorrow. I opened my mouth, but helplessly said nothing. I wanted to say, I originally planned to take Baichu out alone. However, Miss Bai said she wanted to go, so I couldn't say no. On the other hand, Baichu, his eyes lit up instantly. The smile in his eyes was vivid, giving me a brilliant smile. Thank you, Xiaoyu, and thank you, Auntie. Auntie, if you don't have time, it's okay if I go with Xiaoyu. I forgot that on weekends, the amusement park is crowded. I never went to an amusement park in my previous life. It was only these past few days, seeing Baichu being so well behaved, yet only being able to stay at home, and the novel happened to mention a scene at an amusement park, that I remembered to take the child to play. Thinking that Baichu's parents passed away when he was 6, Ningbing wouldn't think of taking him to such a place. I couldn't stop feeling pity for the little guy. The next day, Baichu woke up early. After he woke up, he glanced outside. The sky wasn't fully bright yet. Then he saw the small alarm clock in the room that belonged to him. It wasn't yet 6 o'clock. Ningbing usually wakes up at 6 now, and then she would wake him up. He lay there not daring to make any big movements for fear of waking Ningbing. Baichu felt that living here was better than when he was in the villa, having a large bedroom to himself. This was the first time he was so close to Ningbing. He was close to Ningbing, but not to the point of having no distance at all. After coming here, living this current life, occasionally made him have the illusion that he was still living with his parents, but he liked this illusion. Waking up, Baichu shuddered in fright. Turning his head, he saw Ningbing had already sat up. Turning to look at him, although there was no expression on her face, but because she had woken up, she still had a hint of drowsiness, so she seemed softer than usual. Woke up. He quickly got up on his own, pulled the clothes from the side and started putting them on. Ningbing had no intention of helping at all. The children in her family became independent early. Walking out of the bedroom, one big and one small subconsciously lightened their steps, then went to the bathroom to wash up. In the mirror above the sink, the two of them looked similar, with equally beautiful faces. Brushing their teeth quickly. Auntie, are you going to call Xiaoyu? No need, she will wake up on her own. I usually wake up at 6 too, and then cook. They usually go back to the bedroom to do their own things. Auntie, Xiaoyu works hard cooking. How about we eat out today? You mean she usually works hard cooking, right? Well, I think we aren't so poor that we can't afford food. Xiaoyu doesn't have to cook every day. This is her life. Then, seeing Baichu's thoughtful expression, grabbing the collar on his back and carrying him back to the bedroom to read. As they entered the bedroom, I opened the door and came out, walking over with pitter-patter steps, pulling open all the curtains, seeing that it was clearly a sunny day outside, stretching with a smile on my face. Breakfast ingredients are usually prepared the day before. There isn't much to do. Half an hour later, I habitually went to call the two of them. After we all had breakfast, we was going to set off. But why are we carrying a backpack? He saw the small backpack hanging on him, then saw the large backpack on my back. Puzzled. Did you forget we have no money now? Things in the amusement park are so expensive. They are all the same things. Of course it's better to buy them outside and bring them in to save money. Don't worry, your backpack is filled with light snacks. It won't tire you out. But these snacks aren't that expensive in the park. How much? No matter how much the price rises, there's a limit. It's snacks. How much more could they cost? I opened the backpack on his back and took out a pack of biscuits. I bought these biscuits for 10 yuan at the supermarket. You can check how much they sell for in the park later. I'll check then. He sounded dismissive, but still obediently turned around, letting me stuff the snacks into his backpack. Then the three of us officially set off. Ningbing drove us there. Having nothing to do on the way, I decided to tell Baiju a story. Of course, I couldn't tell a third-grade brat stories he wrote himself. After thinking it over, I decided on a fairy tale. I told the classic story of Cinderella. The story itself wasn't long. It took less than 10 minutes to finish. Baiju seemed to listen attentively and gave a supportive review. Xiaoyu, your Mandarin is quite good. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Were you even listening to my story? I know Cinderella's story is a classic. You must have heard or seen it. Confucius said reviewing the old leads to new insights. You should have gained something new. You're right. But I've thought about this story many times. There's nothing left to think about. The girls in my class are all moved by the love between Cinderella and the prince in the story. But under my aunt's guidance, Baiju realized that Cinderella, even if she was Cinderella, she was still the daughter of a count. So she was still a match for the prince. So it's a story of a well-matched couple who went through hardships and had a happy ending. I gave a little chuckle. Fine, then tell me, if you were Cinderella, living in a family like that, what would you do? Would you kindly endure the stepmother's torture? Or find a way to complain to your father? Or fight back yourself? Complaining to the father definitely wouldn't work if the father cared about her. Cinderella wouldn't have been tortured for so long. Fighting back wouldn't work either. If it were too obvious, and she was seen as disrespectful to elders, her reputation would be ruined, and she wouldn't be able to marry. She couldn't run away either. A girl who runs away would also have a ruined reputation, and wouldn't be able to marry. So the only thing she could do was endure. At such a young age, your thinking is quite clear. According to your logic, Cinderella's fate was predetermined. Of course not. It seems the only thing to do is endure. But there's much that can be done. For example, regarding reputation. Being disrespectful to elders is wrong. But the stepmother treating her stepdaughter so poorly is also wrong. The stepmother has 2 other daughters. She would also have to consider, if her own reputation were bad, whether her own daughters would be unwanted. Ningbing, in the driver's seat, saw the 2 in the back through the rearview mirror. Hearing Baiju say these things, nodded unconsciously. I was stunned by the logic of this 8-year-old. Then you mean what Baiju said was reasonable? Scratching my head, the car entered the parking lot. After coming to a steady stop, Baiju was the first to jump out of the car. The child's excitement was uncontrollable. I quickly got out of the car, grabbed his hand, and warned him carefully that this place is already crowded, and there are especially many people today. You're so cute. You're exactly the type child traffickers love. So you must hold my hand or your aunt's hand, and stay close to us at all times. If anything feels wrong, call us. Do you understand, Xiaoyu? Don't worry, I'm not stupid. I'll definitely stay close to you and my aunt. Children don't have the strength of adults. If someone carries me away, resisting would be useless. Our teacher told us this, so I won't run around. Alright, the child knows what's up. The adults are more at ease. The 3 of them arrived at the entrance, because I bought tickets in advance, so we could go and print them. Compared to the long queue at the ticket counter, they had it much easier. After entering the gate, it was bustling inside. Lively. Ningbing and I, standing in the crowd, were a handsome man and beautiful woman who attracted all eyes. As we entered, unsurprisingly, we attracted the attention of those around us. Some people even wanted to come over and flirt. But seeing the one held by the 2 of them holding Xiaoyu's hand, they stopped in their tracks. Look at that young couple over there with the child. They are too good-looking. At first glance, I thought some celebrities had come out. Alas, it's a pity both are taken. Otherwise, I could have gone up to flirt. I wanted to say, could it be that all the handsome men in the world have gone to the beauties? So that an unattractive woman like me can't find a handsome man? That's so heartbreaking. You're still thinking about these things. I want to say, that little boy they brought is cute. And he looks so polite. I hope I can have a son like that later. Girl, wake up. Neither you nor your husband have that kind of looks, yet you expect the child to be good-looking. I wanted to laugh hearing their discussion. Pity Ziqi isn't my child. Otherwise, I could laugh myself awake. Xiaoyu, what should we play first? That depends on what you want to play. I think the roller coaster and bumper cars are both good. Are you interested? I've never been to an amusement park myself. I only know a few attractions. Ziqi hesitated, looking at the roller coaster tracks in the distance. He made up his mind. Then let's go on the roller coaster. Then we'll do the roller coaster first, then the bumper cars. There were many people at the roller coaster, either adults with children, or couples coming to play. Without waiting for Ningbing, I consciously went to the back of the queue, and waved to Ziqi and Ningbing. Waving my hand, I'll queue here. If you're tired, go rest on the side. The looks people gave us changed. A woman nearby was incredibly envious, telling her boyfriend, a handsome man of this level is willing to queue, letting his wife and child rest on the side. This is too enviable. What's wrong? Do you have an issue with the current situation? You only see the handsome man queuing. Why don't you see that his wife is beautiful? Moreover, that woman is wearing all designer brands. The whole outfit must be at least 50,000. If you had that financial power, you could even hire someone to queue for you. That handsome guy must be dim-witted, or have a low status in the family. If I had his looks, I would never find a woman who doesn't love me. The man accidentally blurted out his inner thoughts, causing his girlfriend to kick him in the leg. What are you saying? Say it again if you dare. No, I was talking nonsense. Joking. Your character is so good. How could you do something so tasteless? Ziqi tugged at Ningbing. He heard those words. I bet his aunt heard them too. Is it not right to let Xiaoyu queue? Didn't your teachers tell you about gender equality? This ride, the rides after this one. Including you. Ziqi breathed a sigh of relief. So it's not about exploiting Gu Xiaoyu's labor. In the past, he didn't like Gu Xiaoyu. True. But now his view of me has changed. If it were the old Gu Xiaoyu, he wouldn't mind. However, Ningbing tossed him around. The current Gu Xiaoyu, when Ningbing tosses him around, she feels for him. How great is Xiaoyu now? A few women, some were married. And like that, they dragged the conversation to an unrelated topic. Ziqi didn't want to hear their nonsense anymore, so he pulled Ningbing to sit nearby. Since it's not about making Gu Xiaoyu queue continuously, there's no need to feel uneasy. Anyway, everyone will have to work hard later. After queuing for a while, it was the three of them's turn. Ziqi undoubtedly sat in the middle. Ningbing and I sat on either side. Even after boarding the roller coaster, there were still people eager to see their looks. Turning their heads to look at them made Gu Xiaoyu feel quite uneasy. But glancing sideways, Miss Ningbing, sitting on the roller coaster, was as if she were sitting in her office, still exuding an air of nobility, as if unaffected. Looking back at Bite Song, she ignored the people around her, blinking her large eyes, happily checking her safety restraints, not forgetting to remind Gu Xiaoyu, check again if you've fastened your strap tightly. Don't be careless. After checking, there were no problems. No problem now. Don't worry, she said. I saw Ningbing again. Miss Bai sat there calmly, as if she didn't care about any of this. I became curious. With a thrill ride like a roller coaster, would Miss Bai react as strongly as ordinary people? Or even on a roller coaster, could she remain unmoved? I must take a good look later. Having made up my mind, from the moment the roller coaster started, I kept my attention diverted toward Ningbing. At first, the car moved slowly, rising bit by bit along the track. As it approached the highest point, my heart leaped into my throat. The most critical part was about to begin. A second before the car reached the peak, Ningbing finally condescended to separate her hands and gripped the safety restraint. But the expression on her face didn't change at all, still staring straight ahead as before. The next second, the car plunged down from the peak. The speed increased more and more. My tolerance was okay, not to the point where I couldn't handle it. Little Zai was nothing but excited, not afraid at all. Various screams erupted around us, some excited, some terrified. Only Ningbing was different. Although the wind blew her hair into a mess, but she had no reaction other than frowning, as if she wasn't even on a roller coaster. I felt the strong wind blowing against my face, and my body shaking, almost losing control. Looking at the man beside me, even while swaying left and right, or even upside down, he remained calm. I couldn't help but complain in my heart. Miss Bai can stay calm. Like usual. What's the point of riding a roller coaster like this? The roller coaster ride wasn't long, only a few minutes at most. As the car slowly decelerated, the screams around us gradually faded. Zijiao's excited expression hadn't vanished. I saw Ningbing. Even with her hair slightly messy, her elegance was still unmistakable. Xiaoyu, wasn't that exhilarating? I was a bit scared the last time I came, but this time I wasn't afraid at all. I think I'm super brave. As soon as her feet touched solid ground, Bai Qi grabbed Gu Xiaoyu's arm and said excitedly. She almost stumbled as she took a step. I quickly supported her, while I myself didn't dare move. Yes, our little Bai Qi is brave. Only 8 years old and not afraid of roller coasters. Much more impressive than I was. When I rode a roller coaster in middle school, I was so scared I had a good cry. Back then, a roller coaster was installed in the park near my home. I rarely had time off during holidays. My parents, who were also free, took me to try it once. Throughout the entire ride, I didn't dare open my eyes, and after getting off, I plopped down on the ground and had a cry. I was young back then, and hadn't experienced anything so thrilling. It was hard on me as a child. Then you were a coward. I didn't cry even when I wrote it before age 6. Don't worry, if you're scared of anything later, you can hold on to me, with me by your side. You won't have to be afraid. Alright, then I'll thank Xiao Shu in advance. She's such a little angel. Such heartwarming words, paired with such a cute expression. My heart was about to melt. Which one should we play next? Bumper cars? Yeah, bumper cars. Xiao Yu wants to play. No, wait. When did I say I wanted to play bumper cars? I was bewildered. I didn't say I wanted to play. I was making a suggestion. If you don't want to play, then why did you suggest it? Adults can play bumper cars too. No, I didn't want to play bumper cars. The reason I suggested it was because I couldn't think of anything else. What other attractions were there? I've never been to an amusement park before I had time to explain. Ningbing had already grabbed Bai Chi's other hand and walked forward, with Bai Chi following her pace, pulling my body along with them. These two didn't believe that I didn't want to play bumper cars. He didn't give me any chance to explain. Honestly, if I explained seriously right now that I didn't want to ride the bumper cars, would these two people think that he was trying to save face? I thought about it for 2 minutes and reached a definite conclusion. Today, I have to ride the bumper cars whether I want to or not. The number of people riding the bumper cars was clearly not as many as those on the roller coaster, so Ningbing let Bai Ji go queue up. The little fellow stood among the people in line, attracting a crowd of admiring gazes. There was a girl nearby crying incessantly, and her father couldn't soothe her. But as soon as she saw Bai Ji, her crying stopped instantly. She struggled to get down from her father's arms and rushed over to Bai Ji's side. Under the gaze of the people around, the little girl unhesitatingly grabbed Bai Ji's hand, blinking her eyes, and said cutely, "Big brother, let's play together." This little girl was about 5 years old, barely reaching Bai Ji's shoulder. "Be good. Stop crying first. Aren't we all here to ride the bumper cars? Then later on, of course we can play together. There are quite a few cars in the bumper car arena. Let's play together." "Mommy, I want to play with the big brother. I like the big brother." "Alright, then daddy will queue up for you." Gu Xiaoyu watched the little girl pulling Bai Ji's hand, chatting away non-stop. Bai Ji had a soothing smile on his face, occasionally responding or nodding in agreement, chatting happily with the children. He knows how to make girls happy at such a young age. What will happen when he grows up? That little girl is cute. No, it's that Bai Ji is polite. Didn't you see that the topics the girl talked about were boring? Like, "My doll's eyes are big," or "My parents took me to see a movie." Some of her logic was chaotic. Only our Bai Ji has the patience to chat with her, like coaxing a child. Boys are generally not interested in these topics. Yeah, coaxing girls. In less than 2 minutes, another slightly chubby boy approached Bai Ji and the little girl, trying to start a conversation. The little girl dismissively turned her head and ignored him, only speaking to Bai Ji. Bai Ji nodded to the boy, then continued to coax the little girl. Surprisingly, he had no intention of bringing the boy into the conversation. The boy probably realized that these two didn't want to play with him, and returned to his parents' side dejectedly. Alright, he is good at coaxing girls. When it was our turn, the little girl was coaxed by Bai Ji back to her parents. And then, Bai Ji relentlessly pulled me and Ningbing, registered quickly and got on the cars to play. From the way he drove, there was absolutely no sign that he intended to wait for the girl. The best part about bumper cars is being able to bump into each other. My driving skills are mediocre, but there's no need to be afraid here. After all, these cars are meant for crashing. Bai Ji would occasionally crash into other people around. Seeing how handsome Ningbing was, people deliberately crashed toward Ningbing, and even tried to talk to him. Ningbing driving here was like he was intentionally practicing his skills. He perfectly avoided surrounding vehicles every time, giving others no chance to hit him. I watched in amazement. Later, noticing that others were deliberately crashing into him, Ningbing tried to avoid those people. Those who tried to crash into Ningbing didn't even touch the edge of his car. Instead, Ningbing sent them scattering, so that group turned their attention toward me and Bai Ji. Finally, Ningbing deliberately left an opening to lure them away. The time for the bumper cars finally ended. At the call of the staff, I drove the car over and got off without a shred of regret. I never want to play this thing a second time in my life. Bai Ji was also fuming with anger. After getting off, he grabbed me and started complaining. Those people are so uncivilized. They don't even know us. Yet they kept crashing into us. Crashing is one thing, but they hit so hard that my head hurts. I originally wanted to save you. but I was accidentally knocked off course by them. Then many children rushed toward me from behind, knocking me further and further off course. I'm absolutely furious. It wasn't that exaggerated. It's mainly because you're too cute. Like that little girl earlier. She liked you, and wanted to play with you. The kids driving must have liked you too. That's why I bumped into you. I wanted to play with you. Then did they bump into you because you're handsome? You're quite handsome. But your skills are truly terrible. My aunt successfully dodged a crowd's ambush. Right. It seems later on, she also helped you escape being surrounded. Thinking of Ningbing's performance now, ZK without a word, grabbed Ningbing's hand, with a face full of admiration. Auntie, you're still the best. Can you teach me? Now, so many people wanted to bump into you, yet not a single one succeeded. Hey, thanks for that. Ningbing nodded to me indifferently, then said ruthlessly to Bai Zhu, you're too young, you're short. You can't even press the gas and brake steadily. Stop thinking so much, eat more and grow taller first. In this life, there are always some things beyond our control. For example, height. Bai Zhu wilted. His height isn't considered low in his class, but he is young after all. How could he possibly compare to adults? It's okay. When you grow up, you'll definitely be even better than your aunt. Don't worry, but you can drink a glass of milk before bed. I'll prepare it for you now. Drinking more milk helps you grow taller. Even if you can't be as tall as an adult, at least be the tallest among your peers. So what should we play next? I slightly regret that before coming, I didn't check a guide first. While I was thinking, a little boy passing by, pulling his parents' hand, was jumping around happily. Pirate ship. I want to ride the pirate ship, I asked Bai Lu. Do you want to ride the pirate ship too? Sure. I want to play everything. I took out the map and saw the pirate ship was ahead, not far from here. Then let's go. When we reached the pirate ship, the previous group of guests had gotten off, and it was time for the new group to board. They happened to be timely, but according to the queue, they ended up in the outermost seats after boarding. Most likely the swaying will be quite strong later. Zichu was still incredibly excited, while Ningbing remained calm as ever. I felt a bit nervous. I've never ridden this thing before. I've seen in TV dramas that when the protagonists ride this, they always end up vomiting uncontrollably afterwards. Although I'm a piece of cannon fodder, but motion sickness doesn't discriminate, right? Xiaoyu, why are you holding my hand so tight? It hurts a bit. Ah, sorry, I'm a bit excited. I was too embarrassed to say I was nervous, so I said I was excited. When I let go and looked, Zizhou's hand was slightly red, which made me feel terribly sorry. How are you? Does it hurt a lot? I'm okay, it's nothing, but you don't need to be this excited. Switch places with him, Ningbing said this. The other two were stunned. Why? To prevent weight imbalance. By 7 and I looked over. They were sitting on the far left, and the right side was all adults, with children in the middle. Looking at the weight on their side, it indeed seemed to differ greatly from the right side. Alright then, Z7 stood up and switched places with me. This time it was me sitting in the middle, while Zisu and Ningbing sat on my right and left sides respectively. As I finished securing the safety belt, my left hand was grabbed by Ningbing, and Bai Chi on the right grabbed my right hand. One adult and one child each holding my hand gave me the feeling of being protected by two people. This feeling was so touching. The pirate ship started moving, the swaying getting larger. Many people began to scream along with the rhythm. Fortunately, it's much better than I imagined. Although it's a bit thrilling, it's not that scary. I probably won't vomit. I mean, as a piece of cannon fodder, where would I get protagonist treatment? I wasn't born with a body that could afford to be fussy. The pirate ship swayed for a while, and the amplitude slowly decreased. I felt Ningbing's grip on my hand loosen slightly. When the pirate ship finally stopped, the hands on both sides let go. Xiaoyu, you're so brave. You didn't vomit, and you didn't cry either. Stronger than I imagined. I was a bit worried at first. I wasn't afraid. You can't say that. I could only say, yes, after all, I'm an adult. You're also more capable than I imagined. Great, even among adults, many are cowards. For example, that person over there, Bai Chi said, pointing to a woman with a plastic bag by the trash can. A woman who was vomiting uncontrollably. Look, she's vomiting quite severely. I looked in the direction she pointed. That woman was quite beautiful. Even while vomiting, she maintained a minimum level of grace. The key was that her temperament remained unaffected. Nearby staff rushed over to check on her. The woman raised her head slightly. I caught a glimpse of her face. I felt that the beauty looked familiar, but no matter how hard I thought, I couldn't remember where I'd seen her. Don't point at others randomly, and definitely don't judge people you don't know. Ningbing pressed down her fair hand. Her tone was educational. Bai Qi retracted her hand. She nodded obediently in agreement. Stop worrying about others. Let's go. It's been over 2 hours. Are you hungry? Are you thirsty? I opened my backpack. I handed it over, gesturing for her to see what she wanted to eat. I took off the backpack I had put on and opened it. I took out a bottle of children's milk. Thanks, Xiaoyu. You and Auntie should eat too. Eating snacks in front of Miss Bai, and even asking Miss Bai to eat snacks. This is quite a challenge. I was hesitating. Ningbing had already taken the 2 backpacks I was holding, and took them. What do you want to eat? Although she didn't mention me, I was a bit surprised, thinking maybe it was because we were out having fun. Since there's a chance, let's eat quickly. I took out biscuits and potato chips, and also a bottle of Coke. I wanted to eat junk food. Ningbing saw the things in her hand. She didn't say anything. When Bai Qi tried to open her mouth, a glance shot her way, successfully making Bai Qi's words, "I also want to drink Coke," die before they were spoken. As we ate, I noticed that Ningbing hadn't touched the snacks at all. She was still too shy. Do you want to have some too? Snacks aren't that bad, and the additives are limited within safe values. Plus, you usually don't eat them at all. Having a little occasionally is fine. It's not that extreme. It won't cause any problems. You eat. Ningbing didn't refuse me outright, but her meaning was already clear. I could only eat mine, but I asked one more thing. Then, do you want some water? I brought mineral water. Buy it next time. Buying that brand of bottled water is fine. I sighed speechlessly in my heart. The big shot has no money, yet still wants brand name water. I don't know how much difference there's between this water and regular water. Water that costs dozens of yuan. Could it be better than water that costs 2 or 3 yuan? Isn't it all mineral water? After a short break, Bai Qi wanted to see a movie. The 3 of them headed toward the animation section. On the way, Bai Qi kept chattering incessantly. Last time we came, we agreed to see a movie, but my parents were in a hurry and we didn't get to see it. I want to see if the animations here are different from those in other cinemas. Today I finally got the chance. My classmates said the movies here are better. I was curious. How big of a difference could there be? It's a difference in mindset. I reckon this child will be disappointed in a bit. I shook my head inwardly. The result of a child being too smart is, there are no surprises in whatever they see, because everything is expected. Sure enough, when they first entered, Bai Qi was quite happy. After watching for a while, she felt nothing. She pulled me and Ningbing to go out. After leaving, she complained incessantly. This movie isn't much different from the ones I usually watch. To think I was so looking forward to it. It's all a lie. My classmate must have lied to get me to waste my time. How hateful. Once I go back to school, I'll deal with him. You can't put it that way. Maybe other children find it exceptionally good. To each their own. I'm afraid she'll go find them, only for them to say, I watched it with my parents, and it was great. That's like rubbing salt in the child's wound. Well, that's true. Lack of skill is lack of skill. Everything he sees looks good. Then he got a knock on the head from Ningbing. Speak properly, don't talk behind people's backs. It's impolite. He rubbed the back of his head where he was hit. The look of contempt disappeared, and he became that cute little boy again. Only his eyes looked a bit strange. What are you thinking? Sigh. I think that if someone finds a movie like this good, that classmate probably hasn't seen anything good before. I was stunned listening to this. In less than 3 seconds, by being knocked by Ningbing, the child learned on his own how to subtly undermine someone. Is this okay? I saw Ningbing stiffly. Ningbing seemed unaware of this, patting the child's head, even sounding a bit complimentary. No, wait, is it okay to teach a child like this? This child clearly knows that this would make other children despise that classmate, and make that classmate suffer in silence. He did it on purpose. Xiaoyu, don't worry, I'm a good child who loves my classmates. I could only smile. We're done playing. Looking at the time, it's already past 11. It's almost 12. Should we go get something to eat? Although I'm not hungry, but it's time to eat. We can't fill up on snacks. I want McDonald's. I can understand other children wanting that, but you used to spend all day eating gourmet food. Why do you like that too? I'm embarrassed, okay? Cooking so diligently every day. Yet the little guy still wants McDonald's. Miss, you don't think that when he's not at home, I'm slacking off with the cooking, do you? I want to try it. The atmosphere there's different from other places. Even if I eat gourmet food every day, it doesn't stop me from changing my taste occasionally. Auntie, let me eat it once. Nothing will happen if I eat it once. Junk food. Eating it once won't make me sick. Besides, let me be happy today. Ningbing stood there tall and elegant. I think Baichu was also a tough one. If it were me, I definitely couldn't do it. The act of pulling and shaking such a person's arm. In the end, Ningbing agreed, taking Baichu to eat McDonald's, and asked me if I wanted to eat too, or go eat something else. Either is fine. I haven't had McDonald's in a long time. Of course I don't mind. Now that you mention it, I'm quite craving it too. In time to enjoy the taste with Baichu today. Speaking of which, he forgot. He had previously agreed on something with Baichu. Xiaoxi, weren't you going to ask about the prices of the things in here? Oh, right. I remember there was such a thing when we left. He let go of their hands and ran to the nearby shop. I quickly followed behind. There are so many people. Don't let him get lost. When Baichu came out of the shop, his face was full of surprise and disbelief. The price of a bottle of drink can double. Heavens, this is already irrational. It's not irrational. It's always been like this. Things at tourist attractions are even more expensive. For example, a piece of roasted corn. It usually only costs 4 yuan, but at a tourist spot, it can be sold for 10 yuan. Why? Because it's a one-time business. After the tourists leave, they won't come a second time, and those who often buy things to eat are often those who didn't bring food. When they get hungry, they don't care about the price anymore. It's not like they can't afford it, so they buy it to eat. And there's the cost. Oh, right. And the cost issue your aunt mentioned. A piece of corn isn't expensive. Even roasted corn doesn't cost much. But to bring the corn inside, you have to pay extra to the tourist attraction management. This part of the cost must be passed on to the tourists. That's why the price is more expensive. Then the one making the most money must be the owner of the tourist attraction, right? After all, they only need to build the attraction, then find some people to manage it, and they can collect a lot of money. If you add the entrance tickets paid by tourists, then there's even more money. As expected from a family member born into business, this reaction speed makes one have to admit it. I recall when I was about the same age as Ziju, I was probably playing around foolishly. Then you also have to think how to get the authorities to agree to give you a piece of land, and how to get so much money to build tourist attractions, and even how to recruit suitable management staff later, and how to maintain it. All these things need to be thought through. It's a bit complicated, but it's okay. I'm still young. Once I grow up a bit, I'll definitely figure it out. I'll find a way then. It's not that easy. I shook my head inwardly. She mentioned it in passing, to let Baishi understand that things aren't that simple when it comes time to do it. Who knows how troublesome it will be. Even a figure as powerful as she failed. Does she not understand those principles? It shows that knowing the principles of something doesn't necessarily mean you can do it well, because there are too many external influencing factors. Often it's not up to the people. For example, things beyond cognition like the protagonist's luck. After returning home, everything returned to normal. My life was disciplined. Waking up on time to cook, then tidying up the house and starting to write. After lunch and cleaning up, I take a nap, waking up in the afternoon to continue writing. I would research materials, preparing for future drawing commissions. In the evening, it was the same, writing after dinner. Occasionally I'd browse other web pages, like watching a show to relax. Besides that, I would set aside specific time to do laundry, clean the house, go grocery shopping regularly. Of course, I'd also exercise regularly to maintain my figure. If Baiken had a need, I would occasionally take the little guy out to play, such as going to museums or libraries to pass the time. Ningbing was busy almost every day. I didn't even know what she was busy with. She only appeared during breakfast and dinner. At night, she would check what Zido had done during the day. Regarding me taking Baichi out, she didn't say anything, so I assumed she accepted the current arrangement. But while peace is good, many problems still need to be solved. During breakfast that day, I asked about the house again. Zizhou saw Ningbing. He had always been quite helpless when sleeping at night, because he didn't dare move around while sleeping with Ningbing. He also hoped to have a room of his own, so he could toss and turn freely at night. The house has been picked out. We can move in next week, if you want to buy a house. The week after next, a seemingly good housing development will open for sale. You can go take a look then. Ningbing gave the answer. Then I feel relieved. It's good that the big shot didn't forget about my matter. When next week arrived, Ningbing indeed told me to get ready. We were going to rent a different house. Auntie, will I have my own separate room now? I hope to have a bookshelf. The bed doesn't need to be too big, as long as it's enough to sleep in while waiting for the moving truck to arrive. Zichu's chattering mouth never stopped. Yay! I knew you were the best, Auntie. Xiao Yu, we're moving to a bigger house. Are you happy? Bai Qi and Ningbing moved into the new rental. The three of them began to organize. Happy? Why wouldn't I be happy? I didn't feel much. Anyway, it's not my house. It didn't make much difference to him where he lived. Since I was a child, I lived in a 2-bedroom, 2-living-room flat. As an only child, my parents had always spoiled me subtly. I didn't have much longing for a big house. For a person, if they've never lacked love, and haven't suffered from lack of money in life, and has a personality that isn't ambitious, it's probably hard to have a strong desire for material things. I'm the typical case of someone who doesn't seem wealthy, but has always lived in happiness. To be honest, I even feel that a small house is easier to maintain and cozier. But coziness is one thing, and reality is another. I can't let ZQO keep living with Ningbing. It's not that I'm not happy. I'll earn money to buy lots and lots of books later. There isn't even a proper study here. I've been holding it in for so long. This was the biggest grievance of little Bai Qi. The house was too small. It couldn't fit anything, and it was a rental. Ningbing didn't do as she did in the previous villa, by giving him a separate study. When he was free, he had nothing to do, and was forced to watch those childish cartoons. I'm bored to death. I saw that you've been watching cartoons lately, so you love reading books this much. I only watched them because I had nothing else to do. I don't like such high-quality cartoons, but the other students in class love them. Auntie said, a person can be smart, but when one's strength is insufficient, one must never distance themselves too far from the crowd. Otherwise, they will be ostracized when things happen. Oh my god, a big shot is truly a big shot. Bai Qi is so young, yet the big shot has already taught him such profound truths. What else did I say? Auntie, you also said that everything should be treated as if it was always meant to be that way. I shouldn't have looked down on other classmates for being stupid, because I'm smart. Even if I think so in my heart, I should forget it. Self-hypnosis. My classmates are all nice. If I had tea in my mouth right now, I feel like I would have spat it out. Good grief. A little kid in elementary school was taught this. Why do I feel like I was a fool when I was a child? I only realized this truth when I was in high school. While reading, Ningbing casually took a book from the packed boxes, and handed it to Zichu. Zichu obediently took it, and started reading without even looking at the cover. Xiao Yu took a glance, and happened to see the title of the book, Black Snow. Alright, the children of big shots will only be big shots later. A mere mortal like me should probably stop commenting on this. The moving truck arrived quickly, but there wasn't much to move. When it came time to organize things, I discovered that most of the things were bought by me, and most of them were daily necessities. Ningbing couldn't stand it anymore, and signaled Ningbing to tell me off. Then I give up on those basic items, such as oil, salt, soy sauce, and vinegar. At this time, I was fortunate that the clothes that once took up almost my entire bedroom had already been mostly sold. They were easier to move. The new house is located in another residential area not too far from this one. The overall security and environment are better than before. Upon entering, I found the layout to be good. Having worked in design before, I walked around the house, and I have to admit, the house Ningbing chose this time is great. The house had basic renovations, in my favorite minimalist style. Black, white, and gray never go out of style, and it looks pleasing from every angle. Even the furniture bought was matching. What makes me happiest is that there's a swing on the balcony, fulfilling my wish to have a swing, where I could swing and read books at any time. Wow, this house is much better than the previous one. I like it. I like it too. Ningbing, with her long legs, walked around and signaled the movers to put things in their respective places. She glanced at the two satisfied people, one big and one small, and her gaze softened. She quickly went back to directing the workers. About an hour later, the movers finished placing everything and left. I found a towel I had prepared earlier from the package, and waved it towards ZG. Xiao Ji, it's time to start working hard for our new house. I'll wipe the tables and sweep the floor, and the rest is yours. No problem, the windows and mopping are mine. What about me? This left the two cooperating people stunned. Ha, Auntie. Do you want to work too? No need, right? Xiao Yu and I are enough. We can handle it. letting her aunt work. She had never thought about it, nor had she seen it before. Thinking about it felt unacceptable. Yeah, we can finish it. You can go do your own things. For so long, I've never seen Big Shot Z do these things. I have to admit, if I saw Big Shot by doing this rough work, I would feel guilty. I'll wipe the windows. You guys do the other things. She glanced at the balcony glass that reached almost to the ceiling, and found a task for herself. After speaking, without waiting for me to respond, she took the other towel from my hand. I felt my finger be accidentally touched, and subconsciously shivered. What's wrong? Are you cold? No. Maybe it's because I haven't drunk enough water lately and have some internal heat. It's fine, I'll drink more water these next few days. It certainly wasn't because I was touched by the Great One. He's not made of glass, that he can't be touched. Eating fewer snacks would be fine. Thrusting the knife through the air toward my heart, successfully making me lose face. Hearing this, Zichio felt troubled. The two of them made sure Ningbing wasn't paying attention. He quickly ran toward my bedroom first. If he didn't run, Auntie might throw the knife right over at him. He still wanted to eat snacks. What I didn't get was Ningbing turning around and leaving me with his back. The trash bags are changed every day. How could there be so much trash in the house? Xiaoyu slapped the back of her left hand with her right. How did I forget about this? But the Great One leaves early and returns late every day. So busy and staying in the bedroom all day. How does he have time to observe the trash bags in the living room? Eat fewer snacks and drink more water now. Let's start working. By CI, who was wiping the nightstand in the bedroom, didn't know. In a moment, because of her aunt's words and actions, Xiaoyu decided to cut back on his snacks. If he knew, he probably wouldn't have chosen to disappear. As soon as he saw the signs, after working for over an hour, the house was finally tidied up. This included the time Xiaoyu spent pretending to clean the floor, while silently watching Ningbing's back. She would never say that she planned to write a character like Ningbing into her new novel. Who told him to always bring up the snacks? Anyway, the original novel doesn't exist in this world. Using a real-life CEO type like Ningbing as the protagonist would definitely be extremely popular. Let's forget the bankruptcy part. Writing based on the situation before the bankruptcy is more realistic. It will definitely be popular. Xiaoyu, why do I feel like the way you saw my aunt today was strange? What's wrong? I understand, it's fine. My aunt certainly won't mind. Anyway, you two are husband and wife. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. It's only natural that you like my aunt. It would be terrible if you didn't. Shouldn't husband and wife like each other? So incredibly cute. Narrowly avoided laughing out loud. Ningbing, holding a towel and preparing to go to the bathroom to wash, happened to overhear their conversation. He had a thoughtful look in his eyes. I quickly let my footsteps be heard as I walked in. The two inside quickly shut their mouths, as if they hadn't said anything now. Cleaning the house wasn't as tiring as imagined. I still decided to cook at home. There's a large supermarket here too, bigger than the one in the previous neighborhood. It'll definitely be more convenient to buy things later. I should take a look around first. Buy some vegetables and fruits. This time, Zichi obediently didn't make a fuss about going. Who knew Ningbing wanted to go again? I stopped him and said there was no need. I can carry them back myself. Today is the first time going there. I won't buy too many things. Enough for today's meals. I'll be back soon. You've been busy for a while. You all should rest. If you don't go, how will you bring back snacks? Can we please move past this joke? But I do want to buy some snacks. It's hard to say anything to the. I could only let him go. In the end, I huffily bought quite a few things. The two of us brought back 3 large bags. Watching the Great One carry things was a bit distressing, but who told him to always lecture me? The 3 of us slept comfortably the first night. Ningbing didn't say it, but with Zichi sleeping next to me, I felt a bit uncomfortable too. Since childhood, I've had my own room, so I'm not used to living with others. Even if Zichi was well behaved and didn't move around, having an extra person in my own space made me unhappy. I worked all day. I felt like I wasn't tired, but I was tired. After washing up, I closed my eyes on the bed and fell asleep. A deep sleep until the next morning. As for Zichi, not to mention having a whole bed to himself, he tossed and turned however he liked. Blissfully, for the next 2 days, all 3 of us felt the beauty of moving houses. Ningbing called Xiaoyu to look at a house again. This must be the house he mentioned before, the one he's planning to buy. I've looked forward to this for so long. Finally, I can have a nest in this world. If you say Ningbing is good to her, and Bai Chi is also cute. Even though there's no definite relationship between us, Xiaoyu still treats them as friends, but I don't have any sense of belonging in this world. Ningbing is cannon fodder. The former husband by Cu was Ningbing's nephew. Everything I have now has nothing to do with me personally. I'm an outsider. It's different once you have a house. With a house, I'll have a place to settle in this world. Even if I have no relation to Ningbing and the others later, I'll still have a place to go. I can still write at that time, and be a freelancer. This will be the place where I can establish my life, of course, even without it. I could rent a place with my current manuscript fees. It's that I wouldn't feel at peace. The place Ningbing took me to was a bit far from the house they rented. Housing prices in this city are rising. There are plenty of people buying houses. When we arrived, many people were already gathered outside. Fortunately, Ningbing didn't take me and squeeze through the crowd, but instead took me directly through the staff channel. He was a big shot once. When he makes a move, even without using his connections, many people would likely be more polite. The people here were more than a bit polite to Ningbing. They clearly treated him as an honored guest. Following Ningbing, I experienced so-called VIP treatment for the first time, and that too, at such a hectic house selling scene. They were taken directly to the VIP room. The interior was high-end. The tea served by the staff was the kind that smelled incredibly expensive. Good tea. Even someone like me who doesn't understand it can feel that this stuff isn't cheap. We're here to see a house. Is there a need for such formality? Do you know the boss here? It was Old Fourth who built these houses to shut the family up. The houses he put together. He won't be involved in real estate again. Pick any unit. Pay whatever is required. Although he developed it. But coming here like this feels like taking advantage. Would that be inappropriate? If it were big shot by buying the house, it would be fine. But now the house is to be registered in my name. Using privileges would be a bit unsuitable. Besides, it's obvious he doesn't like me much. The last time I came home, the way he saw me with those cold, assessing eyes at first, he saw right through me. Pay what should be paid. I'm letting you pick a unit. It's all profit. There's no difference. These 3 buildings have the best layouts and locations, excluding the bottom 6 floors and the top 6 floors. Pick any of the remaining units. See which one you like. Alright, I'll stop being fussy. If the big shot says pick, then I'll pick. I thought to myself, at worst, he can buy another house later. So I started looking at the blueprints seriously. Not to mention, although I do interior design, I also know a bit about architectural design. These 3 buildings are indeed good. After searching, I chose a 3-bedroom, 2-living-room layout. If the renovation is finished and we haven't divorced, then 3 people will live there. If we divorce later, and I own this house, then 1 room as a bedroom, 1 room as a studio, and another room as a recreation room. Absolutely perfect. Once the layout was chosen, it was time to see it. Ningbing took me with the staff to see the site. The surrounding environment wasn't fully completed yet. The hallways were a mess. Usually, houses are sold before construction begins. Why did Mr. Sun build them first and then sell them? Because I told him before, as long as the houses are built well, there's no worry about them not selling, and housing prices will continue to rise. The later they are sold, the higher the price. I see. As expected of someone who was once involved in large-scale construction. Big shot by. Unlike me, a transmigrated pseudo-intellectual, his predictions are all based on